Good evening, everybody. Here I am. We're back after an unprecedented couple of weeks off. Wasn't due to one BGG Con, which we'll talk about, and also last week I had the crud, the crud of the con, as they say. So I was in. I could have probably logged in and been able to handle it for like about 20 minutes before I still got the cough. I'm still getting over the cough. But I just figured I'd go to bed and try to get some sleep. So anyway, what'd you do for the last couple of weeks there, B Dog?
Went to a christening for my niece, and
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and just got back from the mountains yesterday, last night. So
The mountains are still there.
they're still there. It finally snowed the day I left. I wasn't used to that going up there without snow on the ground.
Is that pretty common for them to have snow at this point?
Up there, yeah, it's I'm at sea level. That's about 2,500 feet up. So up there,
I thought you got B's and A's in school.
nah. But
Sea level. Get it?
yeah, I get it. But
Okay.
it's usually colder up there. It's actually like 5 degrees colder from the top of the mountain to the town below. But
Hmm.
like I said, it was warm up there to begin with, and then it really dropped. It finally got back into the 20s and 30s like it should be.
Gotcha.
Then I came down, and it's just that the weather down here is messing with me. It's warmer and all that. Yeah. It's supposed to be 60 on the weekend.
Oh, look at you.
Eh,
Won't that be nice?
no, that'll fuck my back up so bad for 2 days. That jump, you know.
Hmm.
I was thinking about going up to PAX. I don't know now because of the weather. We'll see what the pack feels like on Saturday.
I think we're gonna go to PAX next year. There's been enough um talk about it being like it usually for us it's never been a like you know what they say. I mean like Gen Con you have to go. I mean basically because you have to
Yeah,
make an appearance, and
yeah,
also if you don't go then you get screwed and then you lose your priority or whatever. Um so and that's the same thing with Origins too, which is weird because with Origins and don't quote me on this, but with Origins, it's like I mean last year, this year when we went, it was garbage. It was just absolute garbage. Admittedly, we didn't really have anything new to sell or anything like that, and we just had a 10 by 10 booth, and and we just had a bunch of our back stock, and we were sold out before the last day. Just like completely out of our stuff. So it was just kind of pointless to, I mean, I guess we had promos left, but I mean, as far as like any games with boxes or anything, we just, so it was just kind of silly to be there. Um, but also Origins is kind of it's, I don't know, man. It's like a dead, it's like we've had that conversation. It's kind of a dead convention. It just, nothing really seems to happen. Nobody, it's just like people are, I mean, more, I think people don't really go to Origins to buy stuff. They go to Origins to play games.
well, that's how
Um,
Origins always was. I mean, they had a couple of releases, but not many. They never really did it Origins. Yeah, I
yeah.
haven't been to it in 5 or 6 years, but it's always been a handful of releases. Gen Con's always been the big release.
Well, and everybody loves to talk about, oh, the food at Origins, it's just so amazing. And I'm like, well, it isn't bad, but I mean, I don't know. It's not like the end all be all though either. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Philly, obviously. I mean, the food at Philly was good.
Yeah.
I haven't been back. I've only been to PAX what once, twice.
Yeah, I only went
Um,
the first year, so I'm interested to see what it's like. This is what the fifth or sixth year. I don't know, but
yeah, I was loyal. to Scott and board game dude, so I didn't go to PAX. I guess you
Yeah,
just
had nothing to do with that jackwagon Scott, but this is a local con to me. I mean, it's only an hour away. I just have issues with the public transportation system up there and a couple other things. Yeah, so getting to it's a pain in the ass.
you know
Parking down there is unreal anymore. I can't, the city in general's changed, but
should never change. Hey, hello Kip, hello Tony, hello Stick H. Stick, thanks for the kind words. Yeah, I'm feeling better. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm definitely. I got you get that nagging cough. It's like just hanging around, won't give up.
I was up
But
there, like I said, I was up in Philly for my niece's christening a couple weeks ago, and everything that was open land is now bought up and houses are built on. Basically, it just shocked me the change. It's been about 5 or 6 years since I've been up. Well, probably about 10 since I've been up that way. But
really,
my uncle was telling me, yeah, these guys from New York, these developers are coming in and buying anything that doesn't have a building on it. Yeah.
hey Kabuki. Um, well, it must be money to be made, right?
It Philly's weird. If you're in Center City, where the convention center is, that's a decent area, and certain areas in the city are, but most of it's very bad. It's very bad off. It's a lot of gang violence and shootings and drugs, shit like that. Gotta be very careful when you're in Philly. Stay in Center City. Yeah, Roxborough, parts of South Philly.
The things to make Philly great.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that,
Yeah.
I watched the Eagles game this week. That's the first time I seen the new overtime rules. It was pretty interesting. I don't really follow, but we were up the mountains and the guys went to watch it. That was interesting. Normally we don't have internet or cell phone service up there at all, but they put up a tower, so I was using my phone as a hotspot, and we finally figured out how to get the game onto the TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I like that I could call Jen and say, are you home or are you coming up or whatever. But I don't know how I feel about the internet and all that up there. That's my back to nature spot. No TV, basically, no cell, no internet, nothing. Me in the woods.
You in the woods. Um,
One of the guys who actually came up was in the Air Force. He was actually stationed by you up there in Dakota. One of the silos.
oh yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
I forget the name of the base. He told me. I can't remember now.
Maybe Minot Air Force
Minot.
Base.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's where my well, I've told this story before, and I won't bore people with it again. But my mom's dad, my grandpa, he he owned the janitor firm that basically took care of all of uh the
The silos.
the
Military.
silos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was his job, go there and yeah. So I mean, well, that's cool. Hey Scott.
Hey,
Uh,
you recovered?
Yeah. So I mean, it was weird because it was like when I felt okay, and I was just kind of like, I mean, I didn't really have any stuff going on or whatever, and I got on the plane to fly home, and I just kind of felt run down a little bit, and then I was just kind of like, I mean, but I didn't feel like a fever or anything like that, and I just so I just curled up, and it kind of sucked because I don't like. I mean, having a window seat is fine because you can kind of put your head against the side of the plane and it's easier to fall asleep, kind of thing. but I like an aisle seat mostly because I hate having to like scooch over to get into that seat, and I always feel like I'm making people wait, and it's just like a process. And I actually like um my my jacket pocket got caught on like the armrest, and so I like kind of tripped and fell and wrenched my knee, and my knee still kind of hurts from it, you know. And I was
Oh,
just, so I was kind of in pain, and that's why I just like having the aisle seat, I just figure if I ever had to run and get out of the plane quickly, I'm a dead man if I'm inside on the inside seat. So
right.
if I have my druthers, I'd rather be on the aisle. But then when we landed in Fargo and I got up and I walked outside, and admittedly, I mean, it's much colder in Minnesota or whatever, but I got out and I mean the air hit me and I just started shaking. Like I was just like, oh my God. Like I mean, like I couldn't, I mean, it was like
Oh, you
I
probably had
almost
like a minor fever.
yeah, almost to the point where I could barely walk. And my wife's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't feel good."
I'm like,
And then I
yeah.
got up Monday morning and I had a fever and I felt like complete and total garbage. Did my Monday meeting at work and then just basically laid in bed for 2 days. It was hideous.
Yeah.
Don't get
Mine
me
wasn't
wrong.
it was bad, but it wasn't, I don't know, it was just like the concrete of yore. Like I remember concrete back in the day, and that's what I had.
Yeah.
Fond memories, huh?
It was just memories of like 2019.
Yeah, and I was just kind of
I
like,
mean, here's the thing. I've not worn like I didn't wear a mask at BGG Con, but I've worn a mask to 2020, 2021, 2022. Well, not obviously not 2020, but 2021 and 2022 I wore masks.
Yeah.
This one I just said, yeah. And then I get sick. Now I got COVID wearing mask on the cruise, so that's why I was just like, if I get COVID.
It's that time
But,
of year, Scott. I mean,
No, yeah. Plus, there was like a lot of people in my room grew. The room that I have
it
was
grew.
was very full.
Uh-oh.
Lots of people came into that room,
We're gonna have to get a
which is
bouncer,
fine. I
Scott.
invited them all in. What's up?
We're gonna have to get a bouncer.
No, but there was a lot of
I couldn't get in. It was
bodies
so
in there.
full.
ah,
We were waiting for the car. What happened, Scott?
Well, the car came. It just took a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Took a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Oh, okay.
I thought the convention was awesome though. I had a good time.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna wait till you showed up to talk convention, but BGG Con was fun. I
Very fun.
actually, yeah. I mean, it was good. I mean, and
My hair tonight.
I enjoyed. I mean, it was nice. Everybody was talking about our game. That's always nice, So.
Oh yeah, I mean your game was on fire.
So.
Game of the show, if I may say so. I think I don't think there was another game that was similar.
Yeah, I mean, we should have brought more to sell. So, but we didn't. I mean, we were number one on the hotness. I don't know. I think we might have dropped now, but we were number one on the hotness for like 2-3 days now. Yep, we're number two now. We were number one on the hotness for like 3 days in a row on BGG. It's not the worst in the world. So we took it over from Nemesis, which was having a crowdfunding thing going on. So
yeah, I think they're at like $4 million now.
4 mil,
something like that.
Good for them.
Which is crazy. That game. I mean, I like the game. I backed it, but man, that's just crazy.
It is crazy. Crazy like a fox.
Crazy.
Is that the game that offered that you could pay like $10 a month for like the rest of your life? And
is that what
so
it is?
that's the thing GameFound is doing now. They are giving stretch pay.
Stretch pay?
Yeah, it's like
what?
It's $9.94 a month.
Huh? For what? Like any project?
No, depending on the project, because you have the option of offering it when you do your thing. So like,
it's like a form of
when we do our last light reprint, we will offer stretch pay for it.
How does that work though? How do you get paid? Do they take on the liability? 5.2 million, by the way.
Yeah.
That was $1 million off, which is fucking crazy, right?
Uh,
For an
That's a lot of
expansion.
money.
For an expansion.
I'm
Well,
sure a
it's
lot of
also, it's
people.
also
300.
everybody who never didn't get all the original stuff too, right? And
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
there's
it was
probably a lot of
this is
people
like the
who
third
didn't.
expansion, right? Or second expansion.
yeah, but I'm sure
I feel
there's
like
a
you could have
whale
gotten
all
it.
in.
You could have gotten it like years ago. I mean, I've had it for years.
It's
Anyway,
you,
whatever.
Scott.
Good for them.
There's a lot of new
I'm not trying to throw
people.
shade on them or nothing. I mean,
Oh no, but it's too
they
much.
deliver,
game.
man. They deliver. They're not unlike some of the. I'm like tracking down like Steam Forge games. I never got the original Monster Hunter game, and I'm like writing to them, and I got a response saying that they were overloaded with email, so they couldn't get back to me in any reasonable amount of time. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is their customer service now? An automated email telling me we can't answer you.
Yeah.
Thanks
Great.
for your donation.
By the way, the game is for sale in a store. I could buy it today if I want.
But not your deluxe version, not your Kickstarter version.
Yeah.
I don't even care anymore.
That's
I
why I
know.
don't do Kickstarter, Scott.
Oh, you're so much better than everybody.
No, it's
So,
it's
don't do
just
Kickstarter?
more and more common.
It's super annoying.
It's getting more and more common. It's yeah. And the games are getting shittier and shittier, in my opinion.
Anyway, BGG.com is great.
I got to play Stationfall.
We got to play Stationfall.
Did you? How
It's
did that
interesting.
turn out?
I don't know if you got I mean, obviously you did what you did, but you didn't, nobody messed with you at all. I was thinking about it. I was trying to figure out a way to mess with you. And I should have just done it. I should have just been taking
mad
control of
'cause I
that
won.
character. I mean, here's the thing. Do you feel like you won?
I felt like I did what my character was supposed to do.
Yeah, and you basically didn't do any other characters but that character, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no way on earth that if everybody knew exactly how that game worked, that they
nobody
would let me do what I did.
Exactly. Like I was the only one that was kind of like, do I want to go piss in your cornflakes?
Because all I
thought about it. Believe me, I tried. I was trying to think of a way to do it, and I just couldn't quite get it.
Well, but then I just started making sure that all the other characters were more than 2 spaces away from me at any given time. So like basically, because that's I think the big problem with that game is that it's like, oh, well, I really want to mess with you.
Well, you can throw fire bombs.
Yeah, I suppose. So okay, like we're talking out of our ass, and people have no idea what we're talking about. So we played Stationfall.
Yeah.
We played with 8 people, which was probably a mistake.
Was it 8? It was 8.
It was 8,
9.
which is one less
9.
than the max number.
It was 9. Oh, okay. Was it 8?
Yeah, we had 8. So we had 8 people.
It is a mistake since me and Charlie and Keith are the only ones that knew the game.
Yeah. So there was like a 40-minute teach, which we needed, and it was still stuff that was unclear. Well, no, and there was still stuff that was unclear.
Yeah.
You have whatever it is, like 16, 18 characters on the table.
It was 19 characters.
19 characters on the table that are in a space station that is going to explode. It's 10 minutes away from exploding.
Something like that.
That's what it says. 10 minutes to explode. I was reading stuff about it.
Yeah.
Which is 10 turns.
It's 10 turns, but it's
10.
12 or 13, depending on if there's less players.
But there are situations where the thing can explode early or explode later, depending upon certain ramifications, which
there might be like one extra turn.
One extra turn, or if you are controlling the guy who runs the station, you can self-destruct and blow it up early.
Anybody can self-destruct. Any officer can self-destruct it.
Yes.
Which ends it in like 3 more turns from when it gets started. Something like that. Maybe 4.
So the everybody gets 2 characters. They pick one as their main, they pick the other one as their secondary. Both characters can earn you victory points depending upon different things that need to be done. Those can work against each other and congruent with other people's actions and what have yous. If just depending upon whatever. Like for some reason, my character as the intelligence officer, I forget what it was. Basically, he was the guy.
Weren't you the empath or something? Or
no, he was the guy, just the guy that has the dirt on everybody. Just
oh yeah, what was that called?
Like the counselor. Use the
Oh,
counselor.
Yeah, the counselor.
Yeah.
Because everybody tells you their secrets.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, if the strange alien plant that eats people gets to Earth, I earn points for that. I don't understand why, but
That was
When-
part of your goal. I don't remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, I was just like I got points if that happened for some
Okay.
reason. I don't know why, but when somebody else just went to Earth with it, I was like, cool, you just earned me points that I didn't have to do.
Well, had they
anything.
known, they wouldn't have done it, right? I think
Well,
Keith
yeah,
had
exactly.
control of that character at some
Yeah.
point.
So, no, and then it was just kind of like one of those things where, no, I mean, it was just my whole thing was I was supposed to get everybody's personal files, which are all over the place, and then,
Compromat.
yeah, and then hold on to them, not use them as much as possible, and keep them. So because they're everybody's files, and I got to bring them back to Earth or whatever. And then I ended up just getting an escape pod all to myself, and I saved myself, and I didn't have to go to the weird pirate planet or anything like that. I mean, the thing about that game is that there are 1,000 things going on, and it is tough to keep track of everything. It is tough to understand exactly everything that's going on. I mean, I think every person, one, I think lower player counts would probably work better, but I think the big thing is
Like
is
four.
that
Four
that-
is great because then the turns are very quick, and you don't have to wait.
yeah.
Although I feel like with 10 or 8 players, it was still pretty quick.
Oh, it was quick.
They're
It was
fast.
very quick. My biggest thing was it was like the people on the other side of the table were doing stuff, and then they were just there. My turn's done. I'm like, well, what did you do? You know, I mean, could you just say what you did? You know, and I was like, because I have no clue what they're doing other than like, yeah, my turn's done. Which allows, because in a game of information, you have to have the information. It's just, but whatever. It was fun. I won the game. It went from like I need to buy this game to I don't know if I'll buy that game. I don't know. It's like it's one of those things where it's not that the game's bad by any means or it isn't fun. It's just I don't know when I'll play it. I mean, it'll be one of those things where it's like maybe at my like little mini convention that I hold in February.
If everybody knows the rules, you can jump right into it. I think it's more like there was a huge amount of rules, and I'm teaching 8 people, and
Yeah.
6 of them, 2 of them didn't remember because we played in spring. I played with Charlie and I played with Keith, and
So here's my question.
didn't remember how to play.
It says it's designed by Matt Eklund, which fine, whatever. I mean, I've met both of the Eklunds. Somebody said, how much of that do you think is Matt and how much of it is bad? You'll never know. And I just, not that like,
I mean, I don't know their games well enough to know if someone different designed it.
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I guess you'll just never know.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean,
Good one.
Yeah.
one of
sure.
them is a possible racist / white nationalist. So I mean,
Oh, I didn't. I didn't know all that shit.
so I mean, it might be, a little bit, I don't know, questionable. I guess would be the best words I could use. Anthony, you want to come to Minnesota in February? Play some board games. I'll send a card for you.
No, because you have it the same time that I have my game thing.
Oh yeah, when's your
Yeah.
game thing?
Yeah, so we used to go to a convention in Massachusetts, and then we started disliking the way they were running it. So we started our own. We did it for a couple of years, and then we didn't do it one year, and then COVID hit. So we went back to that convention one year and realized why we hated it.
Tell me why you hated it. What didn't you like about it?
So when this convention started, the convention's been going on for a while. Let me say when it started.
I do this because I love hearing Anthony complain about things.
So when the convention used to be primarily role-playing games. and miniature games. We went there many years ago and started bringing people there because we were running HeroScape tournaments there for them. And then board game stuff started, picking up, and a lot of people coming to play board games. And the thing is, because the board games started picking up, they started doing like events. But what happened was the people who came every year, the majority of them came because we brought them, wouldn't play events. We would just, play open gaming.
Right.
And it got to a point where they had so many people there that you'd sit down at a table to play something, and they'd come over and tell you, "Oh, we have an event here in an hour, so you got to go play somewhere else." So, okay. So the last year we were there and we all got fed up, we actually asked before we sat down, "Where can we play?" And we were told, "You can play at these tables." We went and sat down at those tables. Halfway through our games, people came over and tell us,
You got to move.
"You can't play. You have to pack it up because," and we're like, "All right, you know what? That's it. We're done." So we started doing our own. We did it invite only. The first year, I think we had like 50 people there. The second year, we had like 150 because everyone got to invite somebody. And it was fun. It was just open gaming. There were no events. There was no anything. It was just, here you go. So then COVID came. We had stopped doing that thing. We went back to that convention. And again, it was the first thing. It was like after COVID. And again, just the way treating people like crap. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going back again. But it's because that's one time a year I got to see a lot of people that I'm friends with, and all over New England. Last year we decided we were going to go rent a Airbnb. We rented a house, and 16 of us went, shared the house, and played games all week. So that's our convention.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And what week is that, or when is that?
We always get together the week of President's Week, because that's when schools are closed in New England.
Holiday,
The kids get off for winter break.
Well, see, I don't do it that week, so you can come to Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Send the car.
Nice try.
I'll send the car. I mean, it's a long drive, a long ride.
Yeah, it's a long ride.
Yeah.
But
And it's also Minnesota in February.
the location we have is very warm and comfortable. It has a giant fireplace. It'll keep you nice and toasty. It has a full kitchen for us to cook our food if we want to cook. Like we kind of just did fun little potluck stuff when we did it last time. So everybody would, like, every day people would just bring a crock pot with whatever it is that they made, and so there's plenty of food going around. Everybody was eating. Played a lot of games. I think we're gonna have a poker tournament just for winning games out of my collection that I'm getting rid of. So stuff like that should be fun.
Speaking of poker, I was trying to lose, man. I started playing for like 3 hours.
I was so annoyed that I didn't get you. You were at my table and I wanted to get involved in a thing, but man, my steady diet of like 5-9 offsuits was just.
Dude, I had aces. I've never had so many aces. I was like, oh, ace again. Because I have to play it.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I got to my second table, I built up a little bit of an egg, and then I was bored and I was annoyed, and I went like about a half an hour of like no hands, and I was just kind of like, and then I remind myself, why do I do this? This just drives me absolutely crazy. And you have these people like, and I understand. When I played a lot of poker, I had the mentality of like, it's like, yeah, you folded your A10 you can't be mad that 8-8-10 comes over on the flop, because there's no way on earth you'd play 8-10 normally, and 99% of the time when you have 8-10, you
fold.
Yeah, you fold and the flop comes over, Queen Jack 4, and you're like, oh, thank God. I mean, just like, because my hand is garbage. But it just seemed like every for a half hour there, every garbage hand I folded would have been a winner, every single time, and you're just kind of like, this is stupid. I hate this.
And I was trying to, I mean, I didn't play garbage hands, but I played a decent hand. But I kept going all in, no matter what. I was like, oh, at least I'll be put out of my misery. But I kept winning. Yes. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can win this whole thing. And then you run up against pocket aces, and I'm like, that hurt, that kills.
Yeah,
I played at one convention.
It was Laney's
once.
dad beat me.
Oh, very nice.
I sat on a table with two guys that did nothing but complain about each other the entire time. So I literally sat there, and I'm like, every time I was the big blind, I just stayed in because no one was raising. And I was like staying in with garbage hands, and I would flop like the boat. And I was like so happy just to get both of them out.
Just to get them out.
Off the table, because literally one guy every 2 seconds, can you bend the cards? And I'm like, he's not bending the cards. Relax. And the other guy, can you not splash the pot? I'm like, you two are just being childish now.
Pot.
I did get the one. There's this one old guy, and every time I end up on a table with him, it's got to be just his persona to try to drive you crazy. I mean, if it isn't, then he's the greatest gambler of all time. But every hand he had was like, oh, it was, that person's like, when the flop comes over, Jack 7, he's like, oh, I folded a Jack, He's the guy that always had the best hand in the world. Yeah. I would have won if I had done this. I would have. And then when like somebody gets moved off the table, he's like, oh, I just figured out how that guy plays, and now he's off the table. This whole thing is set up against me. Just like, all right, you old coot. Just nobody believes you. Just
It was fun though. I mean, I had a good time.
No, it's fun. The thing about it is that every year I say, just do it, and then the very first hand you have that's like paint, just go all in. Just go all in.
Just go all in. You double up or not.
You double up, or you're done,
or you're
you
out.
Can go do something else. And just move on.
I think that's what a lot of people do.
But I
think it was about 60 seconds for the first guy who busted. I mean, it was literally like
it was done. Like, he was done.
They were dealing the hand still for our first hand. It was like the guy's gone already. Like, what happened?
Oh, and then the other thing, and I realize this is very, very minor, but when I played a lot of poker, we actually had to sit down and tell people, like, there's certain things when you deal you just cannot do. And one of them is, like, it's like, just when you're doing the flop, just go flip, 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 3 cards on the table, turn them over, spread them out. It's just like, because it's like, but you get these people that go like, they take the card, they look at it, and then they put it down. just stop it. If you're gonna do that, you flip the card away from you. It's just, you don't go, oh, and then put it down. Yeah,
you guys are gonna love this card.
Oh, look at this thing. That's enough. Put it away. Just like and then there's just, admittedly, a lot of people don't play a lot of poker or whatever,
Everyone thinks they know how to play.
So Starla told me she'd never played face to face before, and she made final table.
Oh, very cool.
I mean, she's played online. I mean, if you play online and you know cards, you could probably go pretty far in that convention.
I still know him, but I know a degenerate gambler that when Poker Stars, when you could still play poker online, he still worked his normal job, but on the weekends he would play online poker for 8 to 10 hours a day on the weekends or days when he didn't work. And he would play he is, he's got money. I mean, and without going, in too in depth in what the guy does for a living. But he would have his computer and he'd have 3 monitors set up. And he would have at least 4 tables on each monitor being played currently. A lot of times more. All cash tables, minimum of $100 on each table. And he would just sit there and like as he'd watch, and then he'd play the like $1, $2 all in cash tables. So small blind 1, big blind 2, and then you can go all in at any time. And he would just basically wait and see the cards when they came in, and if he had like pocket pair, ace queen, 8 or ace king, and some situation other depending upon the spot, he just shove. That's all he do. He didn't play the people. He didn't do anything. He would just sit there and play it, and he would just be like, sometimes I lose money. Most of the time I make like $1,000 a weekend. That's all he would do. It's just like having all these tables just basically giving him his cards, and it's like 3-7 fold, 9-5 fold, 10 jack fold, ace king shove, pocket 9 shove, and he would just play. And then if he lost, he'd just throw the money back in on the table, re-up it for another $100. And I was like, that doesn't even sound like fun. And he's like, oh, it's the thrill. It's the thrill of playing the game. I was like,
That's why I can't play online though.
And I'd be like, you're a degenerate gambler. He's like, yes, I am. He's just like, he says so.
So
Great
did you go to any of the special events like did you go to Grant's show?
I went to Grant.
Yeah, Grant was good.
I mean, I at this point I've heard all of Grant's jokes, but
He had new stuff.
I maybe 5 minutes of new stuff.
Oh, okay. So, you've heard it before. I think it was like half new.
That isn't to say. So I've seen his normal stand-up as well. Which, if you get a chance
He might
to see,
be putting a little of his normal stand-up into the show now.
Yeah. So, if you get a chance to see him do his whatever, I mean, do it because it's quite good. And he basically works clean. He doesn't rely on. I remember what was it? He said he was talking about. He's like I was talking to him about comedy and how comedy works, and he kind of was like, yeah, I mean, he's like, there's a lot of comics that scratch together a secondary wage just by basically getting up there and telling weed jokes for 20 minutes. Yeah. He's just like, he's like, he says, I just can't. It's not funny to me. He's just like, but people like it. So what are you gonna do? Matt's here, everybody. It's Matt.
Thank God Matt's here.
Matt the suck up who makes a pinball machine for something.
I got one of the coolest presents I've ever received in my life. I can't even think of a time when I was so excited for a present.
Maybe it was the guy who brought you 2 copies of an old board game.
Well, you know what's stupid about that Omega virus? There was a question on the pub quiz. Did you go to the quiz? You didn't go to the quiz.
No.
That was like,
we came in
what
third.
What game is being reprinted by what's it called? Restoration Games. And it's a talking thing that taunts you, and I'm like, God, I have no clue. It's Omega virus.
Yeah.
Anyway, Michelle.
Good night.
Good for Omega virus.
Oh, should I show off the machine?
Sure.
Take a minute here.
Did you see the link that I posted about the Jim Henson machine?
I'm
Labyrinth?
gonna watch that. I didn't
It's
see
really
that
cool.
yet.
Yeah, it's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff with that game.
There's a line in the video where the guy from Weta Workshops is like, Henson called them and they're like, yeah, we were wondering if you would art direct this pinball machine, this labyrinth pinball machine. And they'd already been talking about him and a buddy. They were just going to make one on their own. And so the guy's like,
themselves.
so am I starting today, tomorrow?
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Like, where do I line up?
You see that?
Laser cut.
Yeah, I guess
Laser
it's laser
cut.
cut, but it's like it's super nice. Like the you know, the fit and finish of it. Like it just and it totally works. It's like actually I've got a video of it playing. But I guess Matt, you came up with the theme, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, Geek Ball,
Yes.
which is
I didn't like the name at first, but it kind of grew on me.
I think it's good.
And then
I can't think of anything else it should be.
Snow did most of the graphics on my team.
Gotcha. Yeah,
And
the
then
Geek Gold, there's like a Geek Gold thing back here. That's like a I mean
That's the
there's so many
score.
cool features to the thing. It's got drop targets. It's got like a pop-up here. And this ramp will score. You have to if you shoot a ball up here, it'll lock in, and then you'll get Geek Gold bonus, and then you have to unlock each one of these. I don't know if you can see that they're
That's cool.
They're one-way
Hey,
gates.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
Did you look in the back corner in the left underneath?
Yeah.
There's an image of me waiting for my car.
the car, the little
Ah.
car going here.
Yeah, I played it and I felt it's slightly angled to the back left. I mean, other than that
Back
though,
left.
I thought it was...
Oh, where did it
Did
go?
you just call me fat?
Yes, I heard that.
Ah.
And
Here's-
that's what I heard. Mhm.
That would be a nice Easter egg. Anthony waiting outside,
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette. Yeah, he's kind of sitting on the steps with the full bag.
But I mean, it plays better than some pinballs that I've played.
Is it enclosed, Scott, or is there glaze on top or no?
No, it's just
No, it's just
just
open.
open. Yeah.
That might be better.
This is
off.
Lincoln playing it while I was filming him. Although he doesn't hit any shots, but you know,
If
he
you
hit most
played,
of the shots.
if you filmed the dude from the pinball company playing it, he did well.
Oh,
Yeah.
who? Oh, which one?
What's your friend's name from the pinball company?
Oh, Dwight.
Dwight.
Yeah,
He was
Dwight was
good.
pretty good at it.
Well, both of you were, but
Yeah,
you can't film yourself playing.
I mean, it's a killer gift. I mean, I already told you. It's like one of the coolest things I've ever gotten.
oh, I'm glad you like it.
Don't listen to Lance.
So, Lance, what was the book? I was trying to tell somebody the other day it was the first edition. What?
Oh,
Oh, you got your toy.
This is cool.
By the way, I'm taking half credit for this because I found it.
well,
Couldn't you say that Lance would never have gotten it if you didn't do this?
I
You should
mean,
take full credit for
I
it.
could have bought it out from under him.
Yeah.
White box.
7th printing because it's got the star there.
Is the witch printing?
7th. It's got a very, very, very small watermark
Mhm.
right there where I'm pretty sure the sticker was. The thing about it though is it's still, I mean, everything is in pristine shape. Still has
beautiful.
the reference sheets. It's tough to tell, but like with the staples, there's no rusting on the staples, which is huge. The books themselves are barely, if ever, opened. They are crisp, perfect corners. It is probably depending on the person who rated it, it would probably be considered near mint. It is ridiculous as far as how nice this copy is. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I owned one of these 1,000 years ago in a here's the dragon.
Would you pay for it?
enough.
Okay.
If I took this to eBay right now, I'd make money. Right?
Yeah, you paid under market value.
I paid under value.
Now here's the thing. I know the history of that.
Yep, it was the guy who had
Look,
the $10.
It was the guy who sold it for like
$10.
pennies. Who was Zach, who I bought Queen's Gambit from this year. He had Queen's Gambit in shrink.
And what did you pay for that?
$300.
Yeah, three. You know,
I think he had it listed for 4. I said I don't want to pay more than 3.
What's
I like the game.
Is that a board
Queen's
game?
Gambit is like a Star Wars game from 2000 that came out with the prequels.
Oh, I was gonna say it's not the.
And it's a
not
Rob
the Hannah
Davio
Love
design.
Joy. That's not the one based in the movie or the series.
Kabuki, it is
It's based on the
complete.
movie.
It's all 3 booklets.
No. There's also a chess movie with Anna Joy Taylor or whatever her name is.
Oh, Queen's Gambit. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Queen's Gambit. No, this is the first Queen's Gambit.
Gotcha.
I also bought like 40 escape rooms and puzzle games.
Did you?
Some guy was just selling murder mystery games and escape rooms.
Yeah.
Just selling a giant collection of them. I'm like, yeah, I'll just get them all. And then I sent him the link, and they're good for like streams or episodes potentially.
I just got to find a case now for it so I can,
Yeah, you need a plastic. How would they normally store that?
Well, if you don't want to, if you want to
Like
display it, you put it in like one of those
Plexiglass case?
glass box things.
Yeah.
If you just want to keep it and
Yeah, keep it nice.
you.
I mean, you can look at it online, right? It's a PDF.
Oh yeah.
I suspect.
No, and the crazy thing about those rules, it's one, just own it for me. I would never. The rules themselves are garbage. I mean, they don't. The old white box D&D rules just like are basically like, yeah, this is what the stuff does. Oh, well, what does it actually do? Well, that's up to you to decide. You and your players can decide what a fireball does.
It's a little-
I got to play
little
White
yourself.
Box. I got to play White Box with Frank Metzler and Tim Kask.
That's nice. It was
So there was the virtual flea market, which had over 11,000 items, I think, where people pre-arranged the sale. Did you happen to see how that went down? Like when the meetup for that? Were you in that at all?
I was not at the meetup for that.
Yeah, I didn't
Hold
go.
on. Now Kabumi look and see if it's 6 or 7.
Okay.
Identical to the 6th printing, but Men in Magic no longer has prices listed on the catalog in the back. I'm just every time I take this out, I get worried.
All right, there's a bear outside or something. My dog's going nuts. Hold on.
Fair. Fair.
It happens. I had to have a weird.
The regular flea
conversation.
market was pretty crazy. I walked as fast as I could in the first 15 minutes and just try. I mean, it was just overwhelming.
Hmm.
I mean, there was thousands and thousands of games there. I wish the deals were better. Like people just still holding on to high value for some reason.
Yeah.
People don't want to sell it. Like, why did you haul all this crap up here and you're going to take it back home now?
I have prices listed on some of the stuff in the catalog, but not everything. Whatever that means. Yeah.
How was the show for you, Matt? We didn't really talk about it. Here. I haven't talked to you since.
I mean, it's my second time there. It was great. It was good. It's not a real big like business show for me, and
Social show.
yeah, it's a social show. And the great thing about what I do is I don't like hello, I'm here for my 20 after 3 appointment with you to talk about, fuck, I hate that.
Yeah.
So this is more of a, oh, you do that? Oh, great. I'd love to talk to find somebody that does this kind of thing, that organic kind of relationship stuff. And there are a few cons where you're going to find, where I'm going to find clients and friends just sitting around playing games in an environment to do that with. So it was great. I dig it.
You dig it.
Dig it.
Then we got home, and then a day later I went out to New Brunswick for 3 days and came home sick.
You might have been sick beforehand.
Yeah.
I think it was like a delayed reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a cold, but it's
Yeah.
just it's actually been it's been a nuisance more than anything because I haven't really felt like tired or anything. It's just a little bit of a headache, and that's about it. A little bit stuffed up in the morning. My wife got it a bit worse than I did, though.
Oh, and your wife
Michelle got
about
the
it, man.
worst food poisoning.
Who
Did
did?
she?
Michelle did,
Michelle.
yeah.
Friday night, she got it. Sucked because it was like the whole rest of the weekend. She
No.
couldn't leave the room.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, I really like that game we played that I sucked at with the keys.
Keys.
The guess you have to use pictures to give clues about the person you have.
Oh, that was a cool game. Secret Identity.
Yeah, that was fun.
I just ordered a copy of that.
Did you?
Yeah, I want to play it more. Yep, because I got sort of interrupted in that game, and then I was also sharing a play with one other person. It was all good. It was fun, but it was just I want to play it again.
Yeah.
It's
No,
it's
it
one of
was
the better versions of that kind of game I think I played. You get like 10 pictograms, like 10 cards or 15, and that's what you get for the whole game. And they're double-sided, and they have little pictographs or something of stuff. And then you get secretly dealt an identity. So what was my identity? Elvis, I think, was one. And then you have to use 1 to 4 key of clues, or maybe it's 3, I don't know, something like that, to convey who you are. Secret, your secret identity. And then you're playing simultaneously with 8 other people or 7 other people, and then you have to use these little keys to, like, okay, I think you're that, if you think, you're basically saying who everybody is secretly, and then you do this reveal where it's got a clever little magnetic thing that you flip up and to see.
Yeah.
Although I think it's backwards, like you have to give it to them and then they put it in, because otherwise everybody can see it. So it's like, it's kind of
I'm not sure how you can fix that, but
it's got a little bit of a flaw, but it's really not that big of a flaw.
No.
Yeah, it was super fun, and it gives you a lot of room to be clever, to like convey identity.
It's tough too,
Famous
because
people.
I mean, the ones that sometimes you have like the clues that you have are really like this is a stretch.
Like the person who I thought was Tom Brady was actually Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Like what?
That's a bit of a mix.
It was this trophy and money. And
I think I had
Tom Brady. I'm like, that's Tom Brady or something like that.
We played Telestrations After Dark up there at the mountains with the kids. I played the original game. It's the first time we played the After Dark version. They really liked it. Well, they're not kids; they're 20s now.
Kids to you,
Yeah,
as they say.
as they say. We also played Nana. They like that too.
Which?
Nana.
Oh,
No.
Nana. Yeah.
Actually, that's the trio game. It's called.
Yeah.
It's like Gamer Go Fish. Have you played it, Matt? You've not played it?
No. Christina was talking about it.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, we should have played it. So basically you get a hand of cards and you have to make sets of 3. And so when it's your turn, you basically say, Barry, show me your highest card. And he flips it up. And then I say, Lance, show me your highest card. Flips it up. And then I say, Scott, Aldi, show me your highest card. You can actually take cards out of your own hand. And if you make a match, a set of 3, that's a score.
Oh,
3 matches wins the game, 3 trios. Or any 2 that add to 7 or some combination of 7. So like 4 and 3 or 9 and 2. If you get a 7, or if you get 3 7s, you win the game. You just flat win. Like you can win make no matches and get the 3 7s and just win.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely like one of the best games I've played in a while. Just like super fun. A little bit of memory and a little bit of like like bluffing and tells and stuff like that. It's really good. I mean, you're not allowed to lie, but people can kind of, you always like you stare them down. Like, do you have that card? Super fun. I've never had a bad game of it.
I'm gonna try and play a 2-player game with just Jen. I play with all the counts but 2-player. I'm gonna just see how it is.
Does
with
it work with
2-player.
2?
I don't know yet. I haven't played it. The rule says
mean-
it does, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah. So if you
You got
there's a
more of
dummy,
a
there's a
center.
dummy hand on the table that you can
Yeah.
also look for stuff. Yeah, I guess it would be more. It probably could play with 2. 3 would be ideal, but
Yeah, it is a good little
oh yeah,
game.
we played a deduction game called Almost Innocent, which is pretty nice. It's like a group
Yeah.
deduction. We were trying to learn it on the last night, and it was like something about our brains was not the rule book is not good, not well done at all. It's like terrible. Like, of course, Kickstarter,
Yes.
but we
You
worked
don't
it
need
out.
to read rules on Kickstarters.
It was
Frustrating.
it was like, I don't know, 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. You were in that game. What's that?
It was like 10 o'clock one night, and we're in
Yeah.
the hall, we're in the gaming hall, and I was with a couple of guys, and one guy's like, "Oh, can we play this game? I'll go get it from the library." I'm like, I said, "That sounds long. How long is it? Oh, a couple hours max." I'm
Couple
like,
hours.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
What game was it?
I'm not gonna say because I don't want
Twilight Imperium.
but
Last Light.
Diplomacy.
2 hours in, I was just like, I was like, okay, I'm not, I'm
Yeah.
fading big time, and this is, and we one of the people that I played with has only had 1.5 turns in 2 hours.
Oof.
That sucks.
I don't want to know what game. Put the game in the chat just so I can.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway.
What was it? Oh yeah.
I think I was sort of over
Oh.
committed this year. Like, I didn't get as many games in as I wanted.
No,
to.
neither did I.
I was super, like, I had so many things to go to, and like I had a couple meetings, and like I don't like to have business meetings during the con, but they were there.
You
One
get secretary, Scott. Next year, you're scheduled for Tuesday
No.
or Wednesday, whatever.
one night we played Heroes of Barcadia in my room.
Oh. What is that
And-
game? It's a drinking game, right?
It is. It was fun. It was
You're playing with root beer?
no.
Oh.
Mhm.
No, it was me, Shu, Christina, Grant, James, and a bunch of other people. And I don't know, there's more people coming up because I had chatted with a couple other people, and all of a sudden about 12:30, I go, oh, okay, people must be here. It's the concierge. We've had a noise complaint.
Oh.
Nice.
I'm
Where
like,
were you playing?
in our room,
Were you in the main
Oh.
tower or the side tower?
in the main tower.
Your dog's still there.
Concierge.
They put so
Turd.
many people in the side tower this year. I was like I went over to there to see Lincoln's room real quick, and it was like 1,000,000 miles away.
It is.
Yeah,
it's far.
I've had to stay there before, and then when they were giving my room here, they're like, "We have you." And I was like, "It's that's a side tower moving out of there." They're like, "Oh, no, it isn't." I was like, "Good," because I don't want to be in that side tower. Side towers for
I think
chumps.
they need to renovate it.
Just for your con, Scott. Better renovate the whole building.
Well, here next year, there's going to be some problems with parking. We have to figure out a solution.
Why is there going to be problems?
The locals, well, basically, the surface lots are going to be probably closed because they're building a new convention center.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
So people will have to, I mean, we're going to have to pre-warn people to not drive in. They have to go to where a train station, because there's a train station right outside the hotel. Which you can just park somewhere else and take the train, which is, kind of annoying, but it's there.
Yeah, but nobody wants to do that. Nobody
I know,
wants to leave their car, several miles away.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be that or no car. Take, Uber.
Well, that's why I
Yeah,
fly
that's-
in, baby.
Yeah, that's what I did.
No, it's going to be a different year. We're going to have to pre-warn people for sure.
Yeah.
At least I know. At least
What's
from
my
what I've
driver
heard.
gonna do?
I could be wrong. Like I could be 100% wrong. What's that?
Your car's still not coming, Andy. Chill.
I
probably
will-
gonna be a
and
couple
this
years,
is- this-
Scott.
This sounds like ass kissing, but BGG Con is the best run convention that I attend.
You're right. It
Bar
sounds
none.
like ass kissing.
It is. It
Mhm,
is
good to know. Good to hear. Thanks.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
quite
it is.
low.
It is a very good. God,
What's the attendance, Scott?
I think we're like right around 3,000,
Yeah.
which doesn't sound like a lot, but it kind of is a lot.
Oh, it's
Like,
huge.
You don't want more than that. It
I
changes
wonder
the
what
whole feel of
happens.
things.
I wonder what the breaking point is for oh shit, we really need a different
3,000.
a different attitude for this. If like
Yeah,
5,000 is it 10,000?
I mean, I think Origins is that number.
What are
I
they
did
at now?
not.
Whatever
have
Origins
fun.
is like it's you have to do a different kind of show. Can't do a hotel show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that because that's not what I like. I like to have hotel experience.
Is that the biggest hotel in Texas or Adele, Scott?
No, there's a bigger one.
Or is it exponentially bigger or just a little?
I think it's like 5,000. Could probably handle 5,000. But I don't know if the BGD library will handle 5,000. I don't. It's kind of busting the seams at 3,000, honestly. Because I think since so many of the games are top, like it's very Cult in the New. Even though there's 8,000 games in that library, more than 50% of the checkouts are new from the new stuff.
I could see that.
So you have 1/3 of the library is new and 2/3 is not, and 1/3 gets hammered
right
way more than the older stuff.
what do your volunteers get?
What do you mean?
Volunteering.
Free ticket?
That's it.
No, there's more.
Okay. I was gonna say
They get jersey. They get
jersey.
Dinner.
The whole state of New Jersey.
There's a one night stay.
They own Kabuki's land.
I mean, how much at what point do you feel it's equivalent?
I think your volunteers are above, like they are probably the best volunteers of any.
Oh, they also
they're
get
fantastic.
get plus ones. They get plus ones as well. I'll be right back. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Avoiding the question.
So I just kind of like wonder, like, do they have pictures of their family somewhere? That's
Scott
keep
does have a very well-oiled machine down there.
keep smiling, keep smiling. Everybody will be fine. Yeah. No, I mean, like the people that volunteer in the like the hot games room. I mean, I can't imagine just sitting there, walking around those tables in the hot games room, answering questions for I don't know how long their shifts are, but I don't think they're like a half an hour.
I forget. Yeah, it's not. I was going to sign up one year and I didn't. I think it's like 4. I can't remember offhand though. But they enjoy what they do. Oh, I met quite a few of them over the years. They're all very passionate about the hobby, and BGG con in general.
What a bunch of weirdos.
Nah, it's normal fan. They're not jaded by the industry like us.
Like I said, what a bunch of weirdos. I stand by my statement.
You do. It's
Bunch
amazing.
of weirdos.
Every year I see the Geek Squad get bigger down there now. Which is good, But you see quite a few familiar faces. If it weren't for that Scott guy, he'd be a great con.
Yeah, he just drags everybody down.
Yeah, everybody.
I
was talking maybe next year I'll go. It's Jen can't.
promise.
That's what we're talking about. I'd be solo. Jen can't get off work. It's the busiest time of the year for her.
Well, somebody's gotta work in that house here.
Yeah. Her turn.
What was the best game of the con that you played though, there, Matthew?
Last Light, actually.
I heard it
Goddamn
sucked.
right.
Falls apart.
I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that secret identity game. I played this game
rate
a couple
Last
of
Light
times.
at 10 on Board Game Geek, and then make another account and rate it at 10 again.
All right. I played this game. That's not a hat.
Yeah, I
Grant,
played that with Scott. Yeah,
one of Grant's games.
yeah,
It's fun.
yeah. It is.
Really hard when you're drunk though.
It's really hard when you're sober. With the
I
memories.
like the first night I played it was after we played Heroes of Barcadia, which is a drinking game. And I'm like, oh God. And then the next night, the next day, or no, the last night before I left, I played it again with some people and I was like sober and it was fun. Played a game with Eric and Christina and Shu, Eric Lang. It was a Japanese game. And basically you have there's this pile of tokens in front of you that all have a different number on them, and you take a token and you flip it over, and it's like a 1 through 5 or 1 through 10, and you put it in front of you and you just keep drawing until you draw something that somebody else has. Like because you can stop, and if I stop with a stack of 5 5s, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stop, and then somebody else, if it comes back around to you, you score those 5 5s for 25 points. But if somebody else draws 3 5s and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna stop, they can take your 5s. It's really neat because you're like, oh, come on. And the first person, then the people notice, they're like, what's that tall stack? Oh, it's a stack of 8 7s. Yeah, I'm gonna draw. They just draw 1 7 and they can stop and then take it. But now it's got to come back around to them after like 6 or 7 people. It's neat. It's a neat little game. What's that, Scott?
Which one? Which game is that?
I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. It was like a Japanese game that Eric had.
Oh. Yes, that was Supersaurus Rex or something like that.
I don't know. It was just a whole bunch of number tokens in the center that you flip over.
That's not it, I don't think.
You basically take a number token in and you keep drawing them until you either bust by drawing something somebody else has in front of them, or just say you're going to stop. Push your luck kind of game.
Right.
That was fun.
Cool.
Hey Scott, how many guys on the or people on your geek team come back every year to the cons? Is it the majority?
Yeah, almost everybody. People take breaks and stuff. They come.
Yeah.
But usually they come back.
That's what I always say to Scott or Lance. So he's like, I see a new few faces, but not many every year. You got a very well-oiled machine down.
Do you have like a waiting list for people that want to volunteer?
Can't remember if we do or not. For the fall, yes, but not for the spring, no.
Gotcha.
But for the fall, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I was saying, other than that Aldi guy, that's a great con down there. Yeah.
See, Anthony, you just gonna need to volunteer.
He did. He's still waiting for the car.
I was getting special VIP treatment.
I gotta
You want me to go back and volunteer?
That's the special volunteer. Yeah, you volunteer, and then for the special prices for the special volunteers. Give me a second. I gotta grab a drink, and then we'll do initials.
Right.
Oh,
it wasn't a bear.
Time went by too quick.
There was no bear.
It was coyotes.
Okay. I had a weird conversation with my wife about bears this week. Actually, we went up to the mountains of PA, and I said, "Leave the car unlocked." And she said, "Why?" I said, "In case a bear shows up. I'm not really concerned about it, but just in case." And she said, she said, "Was I'm in the car? Can I lock it?" I'm like, "You're just leaving the car unlocked in case you got to duck and cover. Once you're in it, yeah, you're going to lock the door." She's like, "Good, because I saw where bears open car doors." I'm like, "Jen, why are we going through this? It's just a precaution. You don't have to worry about it too much. It's going to be more afraid of you than you are of it, usually, unless it's hungry or cubs are involved." Yeah.
Yeah, we have like the local news up here. We get video every few weeks when the bears aren't hibernating, of bears like showing up and like they opened up the back of a delivery van that was delivering cupcakes,
Yeah.
and they like just took trays of cupcakes out of the back of the van.
Yeah, they're smart creatures. Yeah, when there's food involved.
I walked into one day.
Yeah.
I was working out outside. I came around the corner of the house, and there was a 250-pound bear just sitting there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wanted to surprise you.
Yeah, it's a hey boo boo.
Well, the only thing I was concerned of was a few days before we had seen the bears, and there was a couple of cubs with them.
Yeah, that's when you got to worry about it.
So I was just worried, if she had cubs with her, but she was by herself. So I was like, all right. I said, you enjoy yourself. I backed myself back into the garage and
Yeah, close the door. Yeah, I ran into closely twice bears. One was I opened the door one day and it was standing there looking at me. Yeah, at the cabbage, and the other one I was actually in the Smokies. They had me in a cage overnight. I didn't like that at all. But all the other times they're like running across the road. They're not really worried about people for the most
I get
part.
them to walk right through my yard.
Yeah,
At least once or twice. I catch them just strolling through the yard.
yeah,
And the dog doesn't usually bark. It's hysterical.
really.
Like a squirrel, or the guy comes to mow the grass across the street, he goes nuts. But
Well, your dog's not dumb. It's kind of like, yeah, you just keep going there, buddy.
Yeah. I did hear, it was buck season opening week. I did hear a semi rifle go off, so somebody was shooting at a bear there. Them guys go nuts with that shit.
they're protected here, so can't shoot them.
All right.
Everything's pretty much protected up here.
We actually have the season here. Actually, it is this week. It overlaps with the buck season. We were losing them, and they brought it. They did some program to bring them back, and apparently it worked. And now there's too many. Yeah, so.
There's
Do you
too
guys play
many
BGA
bears.
much?
No,
It's pretty great.
I hear it's gotten a lot better in the last
It's
little.
there's so many games. I got like 10 games going on right now simultaneously.
You're playing 10 games while
Yeah.
you're on the show.
They're 1 or 2 moves a day.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
barely
can't-
have time.
I can't
to
play
work.
that way.
No.
I mean, I do real time too if people are around, but
Yeah, I'll
Usually-
get on with a couple people like on
Yeah. Some of those
Skype or
games
something and play.
there's so many games that just one turn is easy. Like I'll play My City. 1 turn a day, 1 or 2 turns a day is totally fine. Because takes like 1 minute to like look at your turn and be like, "Up, done."
did you ever play a play-by-mail game? Like
No,
game?
never did that.
Yeah, I did.
I used to
No,
play
we
on
were born
BBSs.
in this century or last century.
Brr.
I used to play on BBSs back in the day,
Yeah, I did that too.
like
I did
turn-based
that,
role playing,
actually.
like role playing games.
Yep.
It felt so cool, like 80s. Like I had a 300 baud modem.
Scott, did you ever have your own BBS?
I did.
Yeah, so did I.
Did we not talk about this? I thought we had talked about this before. Yeah, no, I had one. It was, what did I call it? God,
So
what
if
was
people
it?
don't know what a BBS is, it's a bulletin board system
Oh,
where you
for all
can.
the kids out there watching the show.
So
Yeah.
think of
All it's
logging
important.
into Board Game Geek to reply to forums, but only one person can go on it at a time.
Yeah, I had my own phone line. I had my own phone line and everything. It was great.
Me too.
I made a lot of friends through that thing, man. It was awesome. I wish I stayed in touch with some of them, but there was one guy who I was in touch with for a long time and then just eventually stopped. We stopped
So
hooking up to talk and stuff.
I remember my good friend Jason Gibb. Guy
The
I'm still friends
Asylum.
with.
It was called the Asylum. My username back then was Straight Jacket.
Nice. That's a good username.
Yeah.
That is a good username.
Took me a while to come up with that one.
But there were like 4 or 5 BBSs local in the Fargo Moorhead area that we all, and like there was one called the Beggars Banquet, and I mean it's just, and it was all kind of, they all had kind of the same shit, but you'd log in and you could download crummy games and whatever. But my friend Jason Gibb like got a hold of, I don't know where he got it. It was either in a computer magazine or something, but he got a list of like BBSs, like all across the world. And so, and he was looking at this list and he was showing it to me, and then there was like this little tiny like 2-sentence line of information about it, and it was like, and then there was just all these BBSs, and they just, and of course they made their thing sound just like Nirvana, just like hundreds of D&D, something or others, adventures, online. You're just like, oh my gosh, that'd be so cool if we could just get that one or that thing, and you're just kind of like, wouldn't that be cool, or wouldn't that be amazing? And we're all like sitting there, but they were all like in New York and Florida and stuff, and that was back when long distance was the same as like calling somebody out of state was the equivalent of pouring molten gold out the window. It was so expensive. So, but he got it stuck in his head that the area codes for North Dakota was 701, because it was, I think we only had one area code for all of North Dakota, 701. I think we still do. But area code 702, he got stuck in his head. He was like, well, that's got to be like right next to North Dakota. Well, 702 is Las Vegas, Nevada. And so one night he spent all this time like logging into these BBSs in using his modem to dial all these BBSs in Nevada. And when his dad got the phone bill, it was like $1,400 or something.
I've told my story about thinking I was getting away with something and I did not, and the bill showed up months later.
No.
Yeah, so I don't know if you, in the 80s there was this audible based BBS that you could like leave messages and stuff. Like it was in Florida. There's no reason you guys would know that, because why would you call long distance to do that? But
yeah.
So I would just stay up all night on Friday night, like doing this audio based BBS where it was like a chat room. So like you could leave a message and then hear what other people say. Right. So you could leave, you push a button, leave a message, and then you would hear all the messages that got left at that moment. So you would just sit there and talk all night. And I eventually met, some guy hooked me into thinking I was like hacking the phone system and gave me a code. I'm like, oh wow, this must be like hacking. And the code was basically dial a prefix before you dial the number. And he says, don't use it too much though. I'm like, okay. So of course I use it. And then I use it again. And no bill ever came. I'm like, oh. Must be a backdoor to the phone system. Well, no, it was you remember you could back in the day call with Sprint or MCI or any of those like third-party long distance companies.
Yeah.
But you had to do a code before you dialed the number, and you would get billed through Sprint or MCI or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
He gave me the code for Sprint. So months later, I remember coming home, and my mom's just so mad. I could see on her face she was so mad. I'm like, what's going on? What I do? Like that. She's like, phone bill's on the table. And I'm like, oh, what is that? $600 phone bill. Which is, by the way, in the 80s might as well have been $1 million.
Yeah,
really.
And we weren't tremendously wealthy or anything, so it was kind of a problem.
I'll tell you a good one, Scott. When my wife was very young, her parents went to like a wedding, an out-of-town wedding, like not out of town, but like a wedding somewhere. One of their cousins with kids got married. So she stayed home with her brother and her cousin and her cousin's brother. They stayed home at their house in New Jersey. And since they were both home, they decided to call each other and play Monopoly over the phone.
Oh, nice.
So they called long distance call for
Ugh.
7 hours.
Oh, man.
Oof. How much thousands of dollars is that?
Yeah, I bet the parents loved that.
Did they even know about it was long distance? Like,
No,
like kids don't really have a concept of that back
No.
then. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I remember you had to dial a 1
you had to dial
and an area code. Sometimes you know.
You'd
dial
have
the area
scheduled
code.
times because
Oh
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
cheaper
Friends and
at this
family, the
time.
nighttime stuff. Yeah, yeah. It feels so so quaint now. Long
Well,
distance.
I mean, think about when
Yeah.
go even further back. Think about when cell phones first started off, and then you had like nights and weekends were like free.
Yeah, minutes. You had to count your
Yeah,
minutes.
the
Oh,
minutes.
Your
Anytime minutes.
Yeah.
I had one of the original Motorola, the flip phone
Flip
thing,
phone.
and I had a beeper,
Oh, beeper.
so you could beat me.
You a drug dealer?
You could beat me, and then I would call you back if it was important,
Yeah.
because you got charged whether you made the
Called
call or
you.
got the call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those were the great old days, weren't they? Things were
Uh,
so much better back then.
Yeah,
Now you spend thousands of dollars on phone but and $50 a month more. Where you're basically paying long distance no matter what.
well, they got their money.
Call Beijing.
They get their money.
It doesn't cost any extra.
I know, but it's built in your bill.
Yeah.
I still remember when I got my first real cell phone. I mean, like I hadn't had one forever, and I don't remember why I got it. It was something. I mean, I was one of the last people amongst my friends, and basically it was one of those things where they would do my, because that was when I was in my mid 20s, mid like 27, 28 years old. Like I'm guessing I was, and people were just like, and I had the house phone or whatever, but people would end up doing stuff, and I'd have no idea what was going on. So I'd be like calling around, yeah, what's going on? And they're like, well, get a freaking cell phone so we can let you know what's going on. You know, like what bar we're going to, or we're gonna go here and play softball or whatever. And I remember like my buddy Ben he's like, he's like, stop being stupid and just go get a phone for the, And I was just like, because I was like, I'm not owning a cell phone. I don't want to have a phone in my hand all the time because whatever, stubborn. And so I went to a Sprint because like they said, oh, if you're a US Bank employee, they've got a deal right now with Sprint that you can get a really, really good phone. Somebody at my job told me that. And I was like, all right. And the Sprint thing was right next to it. So I went in there and they were like, and it was probably like whatever. It was just to get you in the door. The same 15% off they give to anybody if you ask, so it's just, but I went in there and they were like, yeah, so it's like, oh yeah, US Bank discount is whatever. And also right now, if you're a US Bank employee, we have free weekend minutes, obviously, but instead of nights starting at 9 p.m., like we have a night start at 3 p.m. right now. We have a deal where you actually can like calls from like basically from 8 until 3. You use up your minutes, but from anything out of that, I was like, well, that's a heck of a deal. I'll go ahead and get that. And I got my phone, whatever. And I remember I had that deal, and people would be like, they think I was just crazy. I'd be like, because I would work like a noon to 9 shift at US Bank, be on the supervisor team, and they just see me down in like eating my dinner at 5, and I'd be just talking on my phone. They're like, you're using up your minutes. And I was like, my minutes are free right now. I don't know what you're talking about. And I do remember every time when I left work at 9, if I tried to call somebody, I couldn't call anyone because all the circuits were busy because everybody waited until 9 to call people so they wouldn't use up their minutes. But I do remember they must have offered that deal for like 3 days or something, because every single time when they would go through some sort of like reset of all like the new plans or whatever, I would get a bill, and instead of my bill being like $68, it would be like $387 every single time. And I'd have to call them up and I'd say, this is my plan. I I have 3 minutes after 3 o'clock. It's like, and then they'd be like, that we don't have that plan. I was like, yes, you do. This is what it's called. This is the code, because I got the code and everything. Go ahead and do it. And then they'd go, okay, yeah, we see that, and then they backdoor me back into it, and because it was mine to have for as long as I had it. But I mean, basically, if I ever opted out, I would never get back in. And then I remember finally, I don't even know what it was, but when I called back, they were like, when I called back one time, they were like, oh, there's a note on this. This is the last time we're doing this, just like, because it was like me and 4 other people in the nation were still on the thing, and they're like, and I was like, that's bullshit. I have this forever. And then basically a supervisor basically said, well, if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. It's like, we don't really care about you and the 7 other people that managed to get this like super sweet deal. It's just like, we don't want to do it anymore. So,
and then being charged per text message. So you'd write like a book in every text message, and if the person replied back okay, you got pissed because you had to pay 10 cents for that okay.
Yeah. I knew somebody as recently as in the last couple of years who said, I have to pay for every text I get. So please don't put me in group text. I'm just like, what world are you living in where you're still paying?
It's like an $8 a month fee on your bill. You can opt out of it.
But I mean,
why would you though?
Yeah, why? I mean, I can't even imagine if you had a choice between getting text messages or.
So I decided to take up this person that's texting me. I mean, I'm having a conversation with someone who says they started off, "Hey, long time no see. How have you been lately?" So I'm going down this path with them.
Because it's a scammer.
It's like, is it a scam? I suspect so. You want to hear the story so far? I said, "Phone, who dis?" It says, "I'm Jessica. Do you remember me?" I said, "Maybe. Where would we have known each other from?" She goes, "Last time we exchanged numbers at the Artificial Intelligence Conference." I said, "Oh, were you the one demonstrating that robot?" "Yes." Yes. Wonder Woman is me, Alice. Are you in Los Angeles now? So I'm not sure if this is a fake or not. I think it's fake, but
it's absolutely fake.
But the weird thing about Alice, are you in Los Angeles now? Question mark is the thing that throws me off. Is that a fake thing? Like, wouldn't they have already tried to spring me for money by this point? Because it's been like a day.
Yeah, it's absolutely fake.
What should I write?
Well, they called you Alice?
Yeah, they call me Alice. Are you in? It says, Alice, are you in Los Angeles now?
What you should do is tell them, just, I'm getting rid of this phone. Use this number and give them my number.
Okay. What's your number? Don't text it to me. You want that or no?
No, I'm just kidding.
Just so you know, I'm getting rid of this phone soon. I'll just leave it at that and see where it goes.
The one I get more often than not is I get a thing from somebody telling me that they're the pastor of my church and that they need help. The scammy one I get is, hey, I need help. This is Pastor so-and-so. I'm trying to put together some like getting some gift cards for women who are currently going through chemotherapy, but I can't get to the store right now. Do you think you could go and get those for me and I'll reimburse you? And what it is, it's a person who gets a hold of our church's registry. And then
goes down the list.
And then just goes down the list and then says,
I mean,
they have the pastor name in the registry and they just say, this is Pastor so-and-so.
Doesn't it suck that we're in this world now where you basically can't trust anything?
Yeah.
Well, and then I'm always just like, and I string them along as I can. And at the same time, I'm calling my church and saying, hey, I got another one of these. Please let people know that, these scams are going on, because, they count on somebody just, not knowing any better and like, oh yeah, here, let me get you 300 iPhone gift cards here. I'm sure the church will pay me back.
Yeah.
The scamming is just, it must be so lucrative.
The funniest thing about the scamming thing is when if they do it really well, then okay, that's one that you can understand. But the people who don't do it well, how people fall for it. Like the people who call that the IRS, that you owe money in the IRS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used
But
to.
they want-
I used
but
to have
they-
all kinds of
But
messages.
they want you to pay them in go to your Walmart
Oh yeah, all
and
gift
get Walmart gift cards.
Do you watch
Yeah,
Kit?
this is
Have you heard of Kit Boga? Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I love watching him.
It's great.
So my next door neighbor, she's
Yeah.
in her probably 80s, calls me one day. Her husband lectures, so he goes travels and lectures and stuff. And she asked me to come over. I go over and she says, My niece needs me to go get some gift cards.
Oh,
And I'm like, A, that's not your niece.
Yeah.
And B, you should have known this. So I'm like, you should call her on the phone just to make sure it's not her, but I guarantee you it's not her.
Yeah.
And she's like thanking me up and down because she's like thanking me that I saved her because her she could have never lived it down with her husband.
yeah, people suck.
yeah. If you want
They
to
do.
hours watching mindless YouTube stuff, Kit
Oh,
Boga.
Bauer reviewed the food chain Magnate campaign.
The $400 game, the $300
Yeah.
game. Yeah,
Lot of hate for that one right now.
Spendy.
Lot of heat.
I mean,
What?
where's it
Give
at?
their money.
Where's
What
it
do they care?
at right now?
It's probably 800 grand euro.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
proof in the pudding. I mean,
I
people-
like I like Food Chain Magnet. I don't need a blitzed out copy of it though, I guess. But if other people want it, good for them.
Yeah, it really bugged me, like being involved with the game, the construction or the production of it. It really bothered me when I saw stuff like, Lucky Duck, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Really?
Yeah,
We live in a capitalistic society.
I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like,
Okay.
you have two choices here: back it or
not.
don't.
No, you don't have to back it.
We're not holding a gun to your head saying you need to give us as much money. It really disturbs me that people are like that.
Well, I mean, trust me. I have anybody know how annoying certain members of our industry can be. But I mean, it's just like they had expectations that weren't met. I mean, they probably wanted just, hey, give me a standard version, maybe with some wooden components. Give me a big box that has all the expansion material in it, and just be done with it. And then let me make that.
I mean,
I was surprised.
I could
when
see that,
but
You're surprised at how much it was?
I was surprised at how much it cost and what they made, what they were making. I mean, as far as like, basically making a, it's kind of like the terraforming Mars, blitzed out, thing as well. I mean, it's just kind of like, all right, well, I mean, yeah, you could play like that, I mean, and here I am, and I'm ridiculous to even say anything. Is like, we sell upgraded components to our upgraded components for Last Light. So, I mean, yeah, I
wasn't
where do
surprised at the
stand?
price.
But I'm also just like of the mindset, nobody takes the money out of their wallet and puts it in ours. They can choose to back or they can choose to walk away.
Exactly.
I mean, the original game is not cheap.
It's $100.
That's not
No.
even the expansion too. So
Right, no, it's $100 for the
Expansion's
game.
like
It was another 75 for the expansion.
so there's 175 for a ugly
A
art cardboard version
prototype.
of the game.
Looks like a prototype.
Yeah.
I have
So we're the
Hold
game has
$5, I think.
both the expansion and deluxe together have over 125 minis in it. Like probably at least 25 molds.
Well, I mean, I know exactly what they. I mean, if you gave me time to look at all the components, I can tell you exactly what they probably cost to make that game.
Yeah, and they're not sitting back saying, "Ho ho ho, we've got 100%." We're operating at 25 times the cost or 1/25th of the cost of the game. You know, yay, our margins are gonna be fucking awesome on this.
I also don't understand why people think that board games are just cost of materials.
Yeah. And
Like-
they're like, oh, that's just sunk costs. You can just
Property.
ignore those.
It would be. It's a shame that there's no information out there in the past 20 years of this stuff.
That's everything, ain't it? It's not just board games.
No, I'm just my point is there's plenty
The
of
Bookie Kid is
places
anxious.
out there to give information on what it costs to actually make a board game. Like what it costs to make a die,
Yeah.
to cut the cardboard, what it costs to.
We should get Forrest on here since he works in the industry now. He can tell us exactly how much everything costs.
Oh, he was talking about that on his review of the food chain campaign. He's like, oh, I had to get my boss on here to answer a lot of these questions. How's that for my Forrest impression? Pretty good, I think.
Spot on. All right,
Not,
I've
not
heard better.
flamboyant enough.
let's play.
Let's play. All right. Barry, pick a number.
What do you eat,
1
Barry?
through- What?
Cheesecake, butter cake,
Cheesecake.
butter cake.
What's butter cake?
Cake made of butter.
My wife said she wanted a slice of lemon supreme pie. We have like a little diner.
I'll be right
in our
back.
house. And I said, I'll go pick a piece of pie, no problem. So I went in there and I was like, and they were closing in like 10 minutes. And I said, do you still have any lemon supreme pie? He said, yes. We have 2 pieces left. And I was like, well, I only need 1. And she said, well, I'll tell you what, if you buy both of the pieces of lemon supreme pie, I'll throw in this complete French silk pie for free. It was like,
Ooh,
buy 2 slices of pie, get 1
Get on
pie.
they couldn't
It
get
was
rid
like-
of it.
It was somebody that had ordered it for Thanksgiving, but hadn't
no
picked it up.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, that's a heck of a deal. I will the super rare buy 2 slices of pie, get a free pie deal.
Probably Baron's throwing it away.
Yeah, she said in a couple
Yeah.
like we'd have to throw it away tomorrow. So she said make sure you eat it. Eat what you want, then throw the rest away.
Yeah.
So I ended up giving half of it to my mom, and my kids had a couple pieces in the food. All right, Barry, pick number 1 through 20.
13.
Just gotta be that guy, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a lucky number.
That's my number.
There you go.
I'm born on the 13th.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
2013.
73, so it kind of is a 13.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Here we go.
There you
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What is
go.
it?
Yeah, I
FM?
know. What the fuck? Yeah.
There used to be a band, a Canadian rock band that opened up for Rush when I saw them in 1984 called FM, and their hook was this electric fiddle player that they had called Nash the Slash, and he was a mummy dressed up with a fedora and sunglasses and a trench coat.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Damn,
Can't believe I've never heard of him.
Is it a Canadian band?
I think so. I think it's Canadian.
We're a Canadian band. Okay. So yes, F is in Fargo, M is in
What's up,
Moorhead.
Peter?
There you go. Clue number 1. Found indoors and outdoors.
Oh,
That narrows it down.
Clue number 2. Often less regulated. Clue number 3. In Los Angeles, one is on the corner of 3rd Street and Fairfax.
Anthony,
Go for it.
flea market.
Oh.
Clue number 4.
that was good though, Anthony.
What was the address?
If you can't pay attention,
Third
3rd
market.
Street and Fairfax. Clue number 4. Often connected to animals and
Barry.
plants. Barry.
Farmer market.
Farmer market is correct. Well done. Well done.
That's where the fleas are.
Right next to the farm.
There you go. Clue number 1. Deals with codes. Clue number 2. A famous fictional one debuted on TV in the early 1990s. Clue number 3. Sometimes carries a weapon. Clue number 4. Involved in investigation. Clue number 5. Often seen with a badge.
Barry.
Go ahead.
Mulder. Fox Mulder. Hmm.
Final clue. Jim Carrey played one on the sketch show In Living Color. Aldi.
Fire Marshal.
Oh.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Bill.
Fire
Was it
Marshal.
Bill or Jim?
Fire Marshal Bill, I believe it
Bill.
was.
He had no top flip.
Yeah,
Fire
he-
marshals carry weapons? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Maybe an axe, who knows? That's a weapon, right?
Hmm.
All right. Here we go. Clue number 1. This term originated in the 19th century.
Aldi.
Go ahead.
Freemason.
Nice try, though.
Nice try.
Clue number 2. The first word is sometimes changed to world. Clue number 3. Appeared in a 2003 Christopher Guest film. Clue number 4. Appeared in 2000's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Clue number 5. Usually span several generations and are performed by custom with no copyright.
Barry.
Go ahead.
Folk music?
Is correct. Well done.
World music? Never heard of that.
That threw me off, yeah.
Barry is feeling it. Right?
Damn, I thought I had that one.
Slightly stoned.
That one nailed. Is Oh Brother Where Art Thou folk music?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Bluegrass folk, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like more
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, she.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Clue number 1. Connected to the climactic scene of 2017's Guardian of the Galaxy 2. Clue number 2. In a 2014 book, it was revealed humming Chariots of Fire was a cue for more cocaine. Clue number 3. Connected to 1994's Forrest Gump. Clue number 4. Connected to the inaugural gala for Bill Clinton in 1993.
Anthony,
Go for it.
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac is correct. Hey,
Oh.
Shane, we're playing initials right now.
Love me some Fleetwood Mac.
Your name is your buzzer. The initials are F as in Frank, M as in Mary. So
You got that, Shane? Fuck
Yeah.
Mugster. F.
everybody's funny. Everybody's funny.
Now you funny too.
Now, everybody be cool. My boss is here.
How many are we in? Like 4? 3? 4.
We've only done 1, 2, 3, 4 clues so far. Yes. So there we go. Here we go. Clue number 1. This term was coined in 2003. Clue number 2. Connected to a Fox show created by Howie Mandel that debuted in 2011. Clue number 3. Often used as art or entertainment. Clue number 4. Controversial connected to crime, especially with young people.
Barry.
Go for it.
Flash mob.
Wow, Barry, you are like
Nice.
he is just
Crushing it.
He is just zen right now.
I've had a couple
Butter
incidents.
cake.
Let's
I've had a
go,
couple
Barry.
incidences with them on the train.
Really?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oof.
That happens.
We were
Really?
accused of making a flash mob at Essen.
Really?
You
was
were?
the math trade.
Oh, really?
The owners of the show come on like, what is this math trade flash mob you organized that caused some danger? I'm like, what? We didn't do that. It wasn't us. But of course, we're responsible because Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're responsible.
Yeah, I'm responsible.
All right, here we go. Item number 6. Clue number 1. It's connected to Chicago. Clue number 2. Debuted in 1989. Clue number 3. Included a police officer. Clue number 4. Connected to Perfect Strangers. Clue number 5. A neighborhood ended up being start over. Clue number 5. A neighbor ended up being the breakout star.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Family Matters?
Yeah.
Family Matters is
On the board.
correct.
Yeah.
No, you
Did
didn't.
I do that?
Nobody liked that show for us. Not a single person.
I liked it.
Somebody did it. Went on forever. Didn't
I
it?
was a fan. Wasn't that TGIF? I used to get high for that as a kid.
Urkel.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was there, and the cop from Die Hard.
Mm-hmm. Carl Winslow. Isn't that
yeah.
it?
I watched there was an NHL game. They were doing like celebrity lookalikes, and they go to somebody in the crowd saying, "This person looks like, Telly Savalas. This person looks like," and then they're like, "This person looks," and they wait for a second to show the person, the actual audience member, and they're like, "This person looks like Jaleel or Steve Urkel or whatever, Jaleel White," and it was Jaleel White. It was kind of funny.
Oh.
All right. Here we go.
On the board, yeah.
On the board. Anthony?
I'm here.
Okay, just make sure
Is this your buzzer
Make
working?
it- your
like
microphone
I'm
works.
getting it like a second after the person who gets it gets it. So
All right, here we go. Number 1, connected to Sour Milk Sea.
What? Milk Sea?
Milk Sea.
Connected to Sour Milk Sea. Number 2, appeared in Kurt Cobain's Suicide Note. Number 3, connected to Zanzibar. Number 4, featured in a 2018 film.
Anthony.
Go for it.
Freddie Mercury.
Is correct. Well done. Well done. All right. Shane, does your microphone work? You haven't said a word since you logged in.
Because I don't know the answers to any of these.
I just wanted to make sure your microphone worked. That's
How about fucking moronic?
all right, here we go. Clue number 1. Connected to a minor controversy involving a flag. Clue number 2. Originally connected to Clint Eastwood in 2003, though that version fell through. Clue number 3. Debuted in 2018. Clue number 4. Connected to Project Gemini. Clue number 5. Featured the baby goose, Ryan Gosling.
Barry. First Man.
First Man is correct.
What
Yes,
is that?
It was
Movie?
about Neil Armstrong going to the moon.
It was a biographical
Yeah.
movie drama.
That sounds
thing.
good.
It was
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
It was boring.
It was
Boring. I wanted it to be over.
Apparently, you just don't like history.
Hey, Lance.
Historical.
Lance. When do we tell Barry we're letting him win?
Soon. Soon. All right, here we go. Clue number 1.
You motherfucker.
Died at the young age of 41. Clue number 2. Was from Portugal.
Sounds like a
Number 3.
sports question.
Yeah.
Connected to a strait. Clue number 4. Had a connection to the Pacific Ocean until the 18th century.
Can't think of his first name.
Can I?
Anthony.
Go for it.
Francis Magellan.
Not
Go ahead.
Ferdinand Magellan.
Ferdinand Magellan.
Ferdinand.
I'm like, I had it. I'm like, oh, who the fuck is this?
I couldn't think of his first name. I knew.
The next clue was his mission circumnavigated the Earth, but he did not live to see it. He died before they did what they were supposed
If
to.
I would have just said Magellan, would you have given it to me?
I would say maybe you got really good inserts in your shoes because you're gelling, Magellan.
Oh, I like those commercials.
I hate those commercials. They're so dumb. All right, here we go.
I'm a simple man.
Number 1. The name of an 80s band that featured Kurt Cobain. Clue number 2. Is sometimes collected. Clue number 3. It's evacuated.
Anthony.
Go for it.
Who? Go for who? Wait, two people
You
yell.
got it first, Anthony.
Anthony was first. You're right.
Fecal matter.
Fecal matter
Yeah.
is correct.
Yeah, you got it.
Anthony with a late push. Here we go. We have 4 left. 4 left. Here we go. Clue number 1. Appeared at the end of The Usual Suspects. Oh, look, Evan's here, everyone.
Hello, Evan.
Hello, Evan.
What up?
Look, he rolled his eyes as he saw Shane. I bet you money.
Anthony.
It's that nasty chair. That's what it is.
Okay,
Anthony.
Anthony, go.
Fax machine.
How did you get that,
Damn it.
Anthony? How did you get fax machine?
I wasn't sure on that one.
That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous.
All right, I'm gonna win. What are the letters?
You can't,
FM?
but it is FM, yes.
Mathematically impossible.
I win.
You are mathematically eliminated unless I do one of my things where the last clue is worth 10 points.
Yes.
So, connected to Brandy in 2002. Connected to insanity, insomnia, and magic. Number 3. It's a phase.
Aldi.
Go for it.
Full moon.
Full moon is correct.
What was the Brandy one, Scott?
I don't know.
Randy the singer.
Yeah, no, but was she
I
in a
don't know.
movie or something?
The next
I
clue
gotta
was
put the
appeared in
phase.
Teen Wolf.
Oh, okay.
I saw some meme where it said, you know how we weren't phased by anything in the 90s? A kid turned into a wolf during the middle of a basketball game, and we kept playing.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Number
Never
one. Never seen Teen Wolf?
No.
It's you gotta see Teen Wolf. There's like 3 good scenes that are worth it to watch Teen Wolf. You can skip Teen Wolf 2, just so you know. But you can.
You don't like
Teen
Kevin
Wolf,
Bacon or Bateman?
Teen Wolf is a classic. Here we go. Number one. Connected to money. Number 2. Often seen near ropes. Number 3. Connected to WrestleMania 24. Number 4. Has appeared on Dancing with the Stars. Number 5. Often called Pretty Boy.
Matt,
Go ahead.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather is correct. So that gives Matt 2, Aldi 2. Barry and Anthony have 4. This is the last final clue, so I guess it's worth 10 points.
What you got, Evan? You got 0?
Gonna win.
Yeah, he's got 0. So does Shane, but I think he's looking at a spreadsheet or something. I don't think he's really paying attention.
I was looking at an Excel.
Oh, no. I just want to be clear. I am listening and I'm actually thinking about it and I'm actually trying. I just can't get these because I clearly suck at this.
Take some training, Shane.
I don't make excuses for me.
I'm not.
Clue number 1. Has won multiple Academy Awards.
Aldi.
Aldi, go.
Full Monty.
And
Good one.
You're out.
Boo.
You have been eliminated. You're watching the
Because, like-
Netflix Squid Game.
Yes, it's
reality
great,
show?
actually. I was really well, we'll talk about it.
Anyway, clue number 2. Was once a police officer.
Anthony.
Go.
Francis McDermott.
And Anthony is the winner, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and
Impressive.
Francis McDermott.
Had a slow
Never
start
would've
there.
got
I
that.
couldn't think of any names.
I know.
FM is like a weird
Yeah.
combination.
Ferdinand Marcos. Fred McMurray.
Yeah, I'm Fred McMurray, but like
Yeah.
that's
Forrest is like, who?
Mm.
Fred McMurray.
it's the Squid Games is pretty good. I
I don't know. It's
I
reality
was,
TV. I lose interest very quickly.
I was not wanting to like it, but it's pretty good.
Yet you started it up for some reason.
Well, Michelle watched it, and then I started watching 2 episodes in, so I missed the beginning, but I'm hooked on it now,
Yeah.
and it's pretty good. It's pretty. I mean, the money is crazy. Something like 4 million or something like that to the winner. One winner, 4 million, 4.5 million, something.
Jesus.
Well, my question, I mean, I don't know. It's just
Have a
it's one of those
giant ball of
things-
money to taunt everybody,
Well, just like in the show, they had the giant ball of money.
right?
know?
But
But if you look at the money, it's so obviously fake money.
yes,
I mean,
obviously it's fake money, but it's fun to look at it.
I mean, I've never seen a stack of $100 bills that is just a
Looks so
perfect brick.
so perfect. Yeah,
Yeah, and shocking white on the
yeah.
sides.
They're shockingly look like candy bars.
Yes, yeah, it looks like I mean, which maybe they are, maybe they are. I don't know,
But
it's
so I watched the Battleship Forward. Have you seen it? Nobody's watched it. Forget it.
Nope.
Forget it.
I've seen clips.
There's good stuff in there, man. It's good. I mean, it's like Survivor.
I see. I just whenever I watch reality TV, it's just like in the back of my head, I can't actually just relax and just say this. One, it's incredibly scripted, and 2, it's like the stuff that isn't scripted is like
It's based on
they-
this.
Well, no, but this is any reality TV. They take 20 hours of video and just intersperse what they need to tell the story they want to tell. It's not what you're watching. Isn't what
You don't.
what you're
You
watching.
watch wrestling.
Yes, but
Thing.
But there's reality to that, Scott.
Dude,
No,
CM Punk's back.
well, so here's
It's
the deal.
not
Here's
fake at
here's
all.
the deal. Here's the deal with wrestling is like, and wrestlers put it the only thing that's fake about wrestling is who wins or loses. Everything else, you can't edit it, you can't change it. It's live, it's in front of people.
I mean, the hitting's fake.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's,
Other than that,
they're not really in there.
There's a
they're
there's a
not really in
reality
there
to the
bludgeoning
hitting.
each
Not-
other with
it's not
sledgehammers.
full. It's
But
not
I mean,
guys beat up
But I
their
mean, if there's a
body.
guy that climbs to the top rope and he leaps 15 feet in the air and does a flip and lands on top of somebody, I mean, like they're not doing it
Not
for real.
CGI.
But it's not CGI. It's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
only
look.
thing that's fake
Here's the thing,
is who
you,
wins and
you
loses.
suspend your disbelief to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
But which is way
That's what
easier
I'm
because
doing
it's a
with the
live thing,
Squid Games.
and
Like,
and
I
you
believe-
can, and the athletics involved in it is
No
superlative.
doubt. Anyway, I'm enjoying the show.
And you can.
Oh,
I just
you
can't get
just,
into it. I'm not. I mean,
don't let them piss in your Cheerios.
Have you watched
Okay.
it, Lance?
the Squid Game thing.
Yeah.
I watched 2 episodes with my wife.
You know what show I'm enjoying is Murder at the End of the World.
I want to watch that. It looks cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. I like Clive Owen, so I'll
Oh,
watch
He's
him.
a pretty good actor.
Didn't know
Pretty
he
much
was
anything.
show. There's so many shows I can't even keep up.
Has anyone
Uh,
watched The Outsider yet?
What's that? Oh, I've seen it.
The Stephen
wanna
King one on
Yeah, that's good.
HBO Max?
Yeah,
Yeah, see,
I watched that a couple of years ago.
yeah, it's been a while. Is there a second season? Or? I didn't think there was.
I don't know what account. I just saw it. I just saw it today, and I'm like,
Oh, okay.
You
let me see what
saw
this
it?
is. And
Saw
I'm
it.
watching the trailer, and I'm like, oh, my wife would like this. And then all of a sudden, like 3/4 of the way through the trailer, I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Is anybody watching the Fall of the House of Usher?
Lance,
I'm
saw it.
on the last 2
I
episodes.
started.
Good.
It's super good. And
Oh,
that's
super.
when you start making lemonade.
That's the best. I mean, it's good, but that's the scene. Like that,
That's-
it's worth watching just for that.
And that's when you
Well,
start making
Spoil
lemonade.
it. Don't spoil it.
Oh no, I know. I just but that
Already sort of
Yeah.
spoiled it. All right.
yeah.
I was watching Oppenheimer again.
I haven't seen that yet.
Have you watched sorry, this is strictly for Shane because he's the only guy who gets me on this. Have you watched the new Bosch yet?
I'm watching it now. I'm on episode 4.
Oh, good.
So good.
It's so good. It's just they always underestimate Bosch.
Yeah. Always underestimate him. Those
They
two
always
cops
think-
are those two
Oh.
cops are just like, oh, he's the old guard or whatever. It's like you stupid.
Oh, Bosch is yeah, no way. No chance. No one messes with the Bosch.
Nobody.
Bunch of
The
bus
saddest
bashers
part
out
about
there.
the whole thing is I know at no point in the season am I gonna hear Bush.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
sad?
Super sad.
Who's
Lance Reddick passed away,
Oh.
and he played like the chief of police, and then like
Mm.
and the and the police commissioner. He'd always be fucking Bosch,
Mm.
you know. And he was always so angry, and
And
then
he would only just say his name, but he would say it with such disdain. It
absolute
was like
disdain.
it was perfect.
It was like saying motherfucker. Yeah, just
Mm.
Bosch.
Bush.
Yeah. That was and he had for Shane and I, he has the one line that like when him and Bosch are like, and Bosch is like they're having an argument in his office, and he says something to him, and he motherfucker, get out.
Motherfucker, get out.
Just
Yeah, the two best characters on that show are Crate and Barrel, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're really good.
talking about old movies always. Just great stuff. Great stuff. I started watching From, which is really good. If you're not watching From,
What's that?
so without giving anything away, it is and you can watch it if you add MGM to your Prime membership, you can watch it. Which is like extra $4 a month or something like that. There's this town where people live and try to live as a normal life as they possibly can. and you know, they have electricity, they have water, they are able to grow their own food, they have livestock, you know, so they can manage to have a life. However, at night, if you don't go into your house, close all of your windows, close all of your doors, and put a talisman by your door, these monsters that walk around at night will grab you and kill you.
Huh, that's nice.
Is that Harold Powerman or whatever his name is?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Who
Sounds like the village.
Who plays the sheriff of the town. If you liked Lost, you'll like From.
Ugh.
Because they slowly but surely like feed
Disappoint you at the very end? Yeah, great. No,
No,
thanks.
well, it's only been 2 seasons.
Well, they're going to disappoint you at the end.
Maybe.
That's how it's going to work.
But they're actually
always
like
spend 20 hours.
explaining. They're actually explaining the stuff well, right? And there's episodes of like, because people get to this town. I'm not going to tell you how they get there, but they get to this town, so you're kind of following this family that just got to the town, but there's all these people that are already there, and then they start having episodes of when this like what happened when this person who you've seen a lot of, like how did they get to the town and the story behind that person. They kind of tell that person's backstory and stuff like that. So
it's all about honey.
I don't know what it's all about yet, but it's good. Good. So, I would suggest if you were a fan of Lost, and I was, watch From. It's good stuff.
The premise of that show sounds like, I mean, when you pitch that, you're like, okay, so I guess at night I just put a talisman on my door and close the windows.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
Done.
I mean, like, but the thing is that the monsters
Don't
are
mess it
like
up.
the monsters are tricky. Like they can like
Candygram.
They can use like the voices. Like they can use the voices of people you know. They can look like people you know, and like and it's like you gotta let me in, you know. And so it's like, what do? You know,
You don't let them in. That's it.
Like,
Can you leave the town?
That's I can't tell you.
Got
anything.
it. So it's like Hotel California.
You can check it, but you can never leave.
I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but I mean, so it's just
You've just given everything away.
Yeah, I know.
Everything.
Giving everything away.
You didn't sell Shane on that one there, Lance.
Well, that's fine. He doesn't. Not everybody has to watch everything.
Although I was thinking about picking up MGM. I got The Kid, about Belly the Kid, the first season somewhere for free, and then apparently they run it the second season now. I would like to continue that story, but I did hear about this I was iffy about it. Like I said, when I was looking into the MGM thing.
Yeah, it's So there you go. That's my
spiel.
That's his spiel.
That's my spiel for that for From.
If you like documentaries, the Little Richard I Am Everything one is very good.
Oh
I
yeah.
started watching that today. Yeah, it was pretty good. I just stopped to do something else, but yeah. I watched one on Michael J. Fox, dude. It's kind of sad.
Still?
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Still? It's called Still?
Still, yeah. I thought you said who. I'm sorry. Yeah,
He's Canadian.
he's Canadian.
It's
National
not brag
treasure.
about it anymore though.
I'm glad he's still hopeful, but his body's going fast on him.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing him walk really that scared me. I've been there, like when I was starting to learn to walk, but seeing how he's walking around now is scary to me. I'm sure it is to him too. Yeah.
No?
If anybody likes like musical shows and stuff like that, one of the shows that I really love watching was Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It's kind of neat. There's this girl that gets a head injury, and
Oh, neat.
she, after the head injury, she sees people act out their emotions in song.
Oh, okay.
It's just super fun.
Look at that one up.
Like the Mary Steenburgen's in it, so is Peter
Pat. Peter Pan.
No,
Oh, I thought you said pass.
Peter Weller.
we're not playing
Pass.
anymore, Lance.
We're not
Pass.
playing anymore.
Pass. Not recommend.
We watched a documentary on Yogi Berra while I was up there too. I think it was on Netflix. It was pretty. They showed.
Was Boo Boo in it?
Was it not over till it was over, Barry?
Yeah, he was actually a little bitter about Boo Boo, but they showed a world series ticket from, I think it was 64. It was $10.50.
Sounds right.
I always liked Yogi Bear. I thought he was smarter than the average man.
Oh, you said Yogi Bear or Yogi Berra?
I like
Bear
Yogi
up.
Bear.
Bear.
I like his hat. I like his little tie. You know, he's a pretty dapper.
You have a documentary on Yogi Bear.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
great. I watch that in a heartbeat.
I watched a documentary on the Wiggles the other day.
I saw that come up
Really?
on my feed.
The Wiggles.
Were you bored? Like,
Was
Yeah,
it? I'm sorry. I was gonna crack wise, but I was like, was it called "How Did None of Us Get Arrested for Child Pornography"?
That's the
No.
sequel.
Don't mess with the Wiggles, man.
They'll fuck you up.
messing with the gun. It's
The
what?
Wiggles is one of those things that, like, as a parent of kids who were Wiggles kids, like, it was something that it was part of your daily life. And they weren't annoying to the point where you were like, oh my God, just turn this off.
oh, I kind of thought they were.
Yeah,
It's
The
So,
smartest.
okay, the funny Wiggles story. We used to have because my twins were little when watched the Wiggles, and we had like Wiggles DVDs in the car for them, and we had like Wiggles CDs that we'd play. And my ex-wife and I, one night, we actually got to go out, just the two of us, got in the car, started driving, not even realizing that the Wiggles CD is still in the CD player, and we listened to the Wiggles all the way from the house all the way to the restaurant. And didn't realize until we were driving back home that we were listening to the Wiggles the entire time in the car.
One of the smartest things somebody taught me was when I had my daughter, was they said, he's like, you're gonna eventually, it's like, I wasn't one of those people that said my kids will never watch TV. I was like, no, I will absolutely let my kids watch cartoons and stuff. I'll need to keep my sanity, just one of those things. But they said you need to steer them away from like the Barneys and the stuff like that. And he said, but it's insidious. That stuff is just made to like just fester in their brains. And they're like, so what you need to do is you need to find something that you don't hate, that like you actually enjoy watching, and you need to sit down and watch it with them, and you need to laugh at it like it's the funniest thing you've ever seen in your entire life, like gut busting, wiping away tears, can't breathe, laugh, amazing. And your kids will see it and they'll be like, this is funny because dad's laughing and he thinks it's hilarious, so it must be hilarious. And you'll get them to think it's just the best thing to ever watch. And so I busted out all my old school Scooby-Doo's, like when I thought you were
gonna say, like, I put it on Clockwork Orange.
No. I watched old school Scooby-Doo,
Yes.
not Scrappy, just the old school stuff with like all the old ones. And I sat there with Rylan and I just laughed and laughed and laughed. And she watched, if there was anything Scooby-Doo, she would just watch it nonstop. And she would, and I was just like, never had to watch any of
Kind of
that
messed
Barney.
up, Lance. You're brainwashing the kid.
I never had to watch that goddamn Caillou.
Oh,
Which-
that was the worst, most boring. It's like, what is the point of the show? It's
So
bad.
there was like one of those like ranker website where anybody can log in and vote on all these different categories. And like if you go to most hated character on a TV show ever, it's like number 1 is Cersei Lannister, number 2 is Ramsay Bolton. There's all these like hated things. Like number 8 or 9 is Caillou. It's just like the
Do you know what the worst one ever is, though?
You said Thomas the Tank Engine. Oh, Teletubbies.
Yeah.
Those
Because
were not good.
Teletubbies made no sense to even kids.
Yeah.
I like the Thomas the Tank Engines. Those aren't bad. As far as stuff goes, I could watch those without losing my mind. Listening to George Carlin narrate it, or Ringo Starr.
Yeah. Oh, I was up the mountains. Like I said, we don't get too much. We get regular TV up there at best, until this year. But they had my favorite Martian. This is the first time I see this in like 25 years. Was one of the black and white ones, and then they followed it with "I Dream of Jeannie." And again, this is like the first time in 25, probably 30 years. It was kind of cool. Just to see how they filmed stuff back then. I forgot how like this one, the Martian was disappearing and reappearing. Just to see how they used to do it back in the day was interesting. Really.
So if you're ever bored and need a good laugh and have Prime Video, go on there and just watch the trailer for Reggie's Prayer.
Reggie's Prayer.
So Reggie White made this movie.
Oh boy.
So the funny thing is, like, we're so used to now how movie trailers are. How they're like, in a time, this stuff. But like all movie trailers were like horrible. They were like some bad person narrating like in between. This one is possibly the worst one you'll ever see in your life.
If you say.
You have to watch it, Lance. What you call it's in it? Big Show's in it.
Well, Paul White.
Big Show.
Did anybody know that there's a D&D television channel?
No, really.
Yes,
They
and
launched
it's
it a couple of weeks
it's
ago.
Absolutely horrible, or something like that.
Oh no.
They launched it a couple of weeks ago, and nobody knows about it. If you can find the website and you get there, there's like 3 shows that are available. You go to click on them, it either goes to a link that's a 404 or the other two, and then the other 2 aren't even fucking linked.
Oh no.
It's so badly like produced, like the launch was so badly done that, as a person who would be interested genuinely in this kind of stuff, they should be hammering this down our throats. But
yeah.
So the weird thing about that is that the Hasbro bought the television production
E1
company E1 for $4 billion
With a
like
B.
5 or 6 years ago, and then 2 years ago they sold it for $500 million. So
here's
Not a
something:
great way to make
12.5% of what you paid for it.
yeah,
That
no, that
math
isn't a
don't
good
add
way to
up.
make money. That is not a good way to make money at all. There's all these people that are saying that Hasbro is going to go under. I'm like, well, no, Hasbro's not going anywhere. I was like, is there a chance they try to sell WotC to somebody? Absolutely. I could definitely see them trying to sell off D&D to somebody to stop having to make stuff for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? What do I know?
Nothing.
They
That's
got
why Shane makes the big bucks.
yeah.
I was gonna say that's why you read the questions.
Who makes the big bucks?
Well, they're bigger bucks than he gets.
Nobody told Shane that.
You must not get many bucks. I'll tell you that.
He does bitch about that, Shane. I'm just saying.
Don't take my name out of your goddamn mouth. You can do that right now. No, I there's something I wanna complain about to Shane that I could listen to him rant about, but I can't say anything because I don't want to say anything live because whatever.
Good night, everybody.
No, no, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. Maybe there'll be Alaboom after hours, and I'll express my displeasure about something.
You actually, you're going to keep this in.
You're gonna go into the grind my gears portion of the.
What really grinds my gears?
There's a lot of stuff that gets said after the camera gets turned off. That we can't really express openly and honestly. decorum demands that we just wait and what have you.
Wah, wah.
Does
Yeah,
anybody
wah,
see
wah, indeed.
Bodies? The show Bodies?
It's
I
next
started
to my
watching
list.
it. The first episode did not keep my interest, so I had to get back to it at some point.
It's a tough show to watch. It's a complex show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably why I'm like doing this kind of stuff
Based
when
on
I'm
it,
watching it.
see-
It intrigued me. I stayed with it. I thought it was pretty good.
I watched the whole thing. I thought it was good in the end. It is a very complicated time travel show, though.
Is it?
I'd like
Very-
to hear.
very
Yeah. Especially
Let me
you
ask
start
this.
thinking about it. You're like, wait a minute. Like,
Yeah.
like,
It falls apart when you under real scrutiny, but like it's
Yeah.
a pretty good story.
yeah.
So I shouldn't be stoned watching this one, is what you're saying.
No. You got to pay
Or it might
attention.
make it more interesting. You never know.
Let me ask this question real quick.
Yes.
None of us obviously are at PAX.
None
Why
of
didn't I understand why Scott didn't go to PAX Unplugged. I understand.
I got
why.
people going.
But I
Kansas
mean,
City-
why out of the people here, that normally we go to conventions, why aren't you at PAX? And Barry, you said you might go.
I may or may not. It depends
You
on
might
the
just
weather.
drive in.
Yeah, Philly's only an hour away. Well,
I've been to 4 conventions this
That's
year, which
about
is the most I've been any year. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend the extra money.
I'm also just exhausted from it. So
Do you guys have
Very-
I will say that
no Great Fox at all? Are you guys selling anything there? Like, is there someone selling?
like, there's nothing.
I will say that
I
PAX
had a
was
lot
the
of people
most
reach out.
expensive
You guys got a
convention.
booth? Got any last light here? I had more than a few of those people. So
We'll probably go next year. The first couple of years we went, it was bad for us because like we just had a lot of people coming to the booth like
and not buying anything.
and not buying anything and,
Yeah.
and looking at you like you're like the frame of reference for things were like Carcassonne and Settlers of Catan if you were lucky. So
Yeah.
there were just a lot of really, really, really casual gamers, and we just didn't really have any product for them, and they didn't buy anything. So after 2 years, I was like, forget it. And then we didn't go for like a year or two, and then COVID hit, and then and so now this year, literally like everybody is like, you going to PAX? You going to PAX? You going to PAX? You going to PAX? It's surprising that nobody here is going to PAX because it feels like everybody else I know is going to PAX.
Yeah.
I'd
So-
love to go if it was just for the food at that market.
Yeah, for
Oh, the
sure.
Reading
You ever had any
Terminal?
of the Chinese food around there?
No.
Oh, you're missing out on the best food then.
I grew up on it.
Oh, really?
Oh, the
It's
Chinese
right
food
up,
around
Chinatown's
there.
right up the street.
Yeah.
What's that?
10th and
Chinatown's
Arch.
right up the street.
Yeah,
Mm.
phenomenal.
So the first year of PAX, I think Michael Mendez invited me to go for noodles like every single meal of the day because he had a noodle place up the street in Chinatown, and he went like literally every meal he went for ramen.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go to every.
There's
I mean, that's a little much.
other
But
stuff
there's a lot of
there,
really
yeah.
good. There's just a lot of really good Chinese/Asian cuisine around there. Like some of the best I've had in the U.S. So
I had Chinese food when I went to Columbus for Origins. It was pretty good.
So I was reading the feedback from BGGCon, the survey, and one of the bigger, I wouldn't say it's a complaint,
But I
some-
wasn't there.
that you weren't there. Yeah, that was the biggest
That was
complaint.
number one. I know that.
That Anthony guy
Where's
was
that
not
damn car?
Ferguson was not in the house.
It's been years, Scott. Years.
But it's like the exhibit hall is like insufficient, and I'm like,
What?
The what hole?
there was like 50 vendors there and 2 stores with tons of new games. I'm like, what do you want? Like, I don't know
they don't
what
even know.
want, and I'm just
Don't know
like,
what they want.
no, you go to a convention for vendors, like obviously a convention for vendors is completely set up differently because it's all about the vendors. Like
Yeah.
Gen Con is like basically all about the vendors.
Was there no one selling plushies
Ah,
or
Yeah.
kilts or fezzes?
No, I don't know. Yeah, no, there was a lot of what I would call board game adjacent stuff. So it had a good variety of stuff. I don't know.
People are fickle.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
But I will say for PAX U to attend, it is one of the most expensive conventions to go to.
Yeah.
What are
Center
the
City is expensive in general.
200 plus.
No, it's not just the ticket. Like if you're local, it's one thing. But like if you even drive in,
Yeah.
like if you
Parking's-
want to park in one of the lots that's near the convention center,
Yeah.
it's like $50-$60.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
For a
price.
day.
That's one of my hangups in not going.
Oh
up
yeah.
I think BGG was only 5 or 10.
there. And,
I mean, because we had special rates.
And the
Yeah.
the hotels are more,
Yeah.
everything is more there.
yeah, the parking is what got. I was talking to my brother about that. But I used to, the headquarters for where I worked was around the corner. And he told me it was like $30. I was like, you gotta be no, that's like New York prices to me. You know,
It
like,
was higher than New York prices in some of the places.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great town. The food in the area is great, but it's expensive to go.
I will not be going back to Origins.
Nah.
How come?
It was not apart from hanging out with you guys, like you and Lydia and stuff,
Yeah.
it was not like memorable or the experience was not something I'm like, oh, I want to come back to this next year. Not
Yeah.
like Gen Con or BGG or whatever, that has a lot of the, BGG being pretty, like Lance said, pretty well, like very well run, and
Yeah.
Gen Con for just the
Yeah.
other things. So
We going back to Origins, boss, so we can sell out of all of our stuff, and then they force us to stay in the booth.
We'll leave a little sign that says
There
we're
were
out.
you to stay in the booth.
Yes, they literally said if you abandon your booth, we will fine you. It was like $250.
Really?
That seemed harsh.
Yeah.
that sounds like a $250 well spent to me.
There's plenty
So,
of
and I got yelled at by a woman, like, so it was Sunday. I remembered my badge every day. And Sunday, I got out of the room and I left my badge in the room, and I had already checked out, so I couldn't get back in. And I had to break the booth down. So I went to the thing and I was like, look, I apologize. I was like, I checked out of my room and I left my thing in there. I'm a vendor. I have to break my booth down. I have to get in there. She spent 5 minutes just dressing me down, and then eventually gave me the badge. And I was just like,
I would have broke it down 2 days ago if you let me.
I was like, I was like, do you feel good? Does it make you feel powerful? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
That sounded like a very Seinfeld thing to say. Do you feel good?
yeah.
Every time you make someone make a judgment call, though, it's frustrating because when there's 100 judgment calls to make, then I feel like it's hard, right? Like I was in that position once as doing security at University of Florida. Like everybody's got an answer. Everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
Which is like, at what point do you? Some
Well,
people
at the
do,
point
some
when you're a
people don't.
vendor and you paid money to be there, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, you probably had a valid. Obviously, they want people to break down their booths, right? So, I mean, was the
Right.
show closed at that point?
What am I just not going to be able to get in? Like, am I just
like,
not going to be able to?
I
Like,
don't
I
know.
just can't. Now I just can't get in.
Like
Like,
some just don't have that capability of.
well, she was like the head of the whole. Like, she
Decision-making.
wasn't some rando. She was like,
someone who was in charge.
yes,
She was someone who could make a decision.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
I mean, I
was
thing
like,
about
and I didn't
BGG
go.
is
I wasn't
we know all
cocky
our
about it.
vendors pretty well.
What's that?
I think we know all our vendors pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I
By
was
name.
super apologetic about it. I wasn't cocky. I wasn't egotistical.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I wasn't egotistical. I wasn't being an ass about it. I was like, look, I really apologize. I would go back to my room and get it if I could, but I checked out already. Like, I can't get back in the room. Like, if there was any other solution to this problem, I wouldn't be bothering you. Any other solution, I wouldn't be bothering you.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Your con's a little different there, Scott. Yours more intimate than Gen Con or Origins.
Yeah, the scale of those things is always like
Yeah.
It's hard to.
Right.
Scott, how much was the price at BGG Con for an attendee? The
Attendee
ticket.
ticket. It's like 150 plus fees.
And when that was what, Thursday to Sunday or Friday?
Wednesday to Sunday. It's 5 days.
Wednesday. It's about, yeah. I thought it wasn't that bad.
It's the cheapest convention out of all the conventions.
PAX.
$30 a day is pretty cheap.
I was looking at PAX. That's $40 for a 1 day. I don't even know if they have. They probably do have the weekend thing, but
Yeah, I guess people can buy day badges at those conventions, but I don't know. Ours is more of an experience. Like that's what I want. I want people to come to have the experience. A 5-day, 4-day, whatever you can spare with your vacation. Even the weekend, right? Like a Friday night to Sunday is like really the minimum I would say come to BGG Con for. Like if you come to Saturday, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know from a vendor standpoint at PAX U. So like the draw the first year they had it was the fees were really low for everything.
Yeah.
Like even to
We're
bring your
trying
stuff
to get
in
a
from
lot
the dock, the
new
loading
show,
dock
right?
was super cheap.
Oh hell no, that's all union, man. I worked in that building.
Like the folks from PAX like ate the cost for it.
Yep.
Oh, and they ate it.
And it was like, oh, how could you not go? If you could go, how could you not go? And you got there and you're like, oh, okay, this is great. And then all these people walking around, they're all excited and they're just walking past the
Yeah,
I mean, that first year was weird
to a different crowd. The
yeah.
PAX crowd is a 100% different crowd. It is a video game based crowd.
yeah.
Right? Video game culture, which plays board games. No question there. But
Well, it was also we were so used to like Gen Con and stuff where like the doors open and people go to go buy stuff.
Yeah.
Because there were plenty of companies there that like it was the first place because the first year was the same weekend as BGG or the weekend before BGG.
It was close to BGG.
the same weekend as
I think it was the same
Weekend. Yeah, the first year was the same weekend.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you were going there, you didn't go to BGG. This was your first opportunity for any company.
Some
that
people
was
stay
same as
true to
Espen
Aldi. That's
to get it here, and no one cared. People bought stuff on the way out. Like literally the entire day, people would come to the booth and look at the games and whatnot. And I would say the majority of the sales were happening as people were leaving.
Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad.
I mean, I guess if I was running a board game company, sales are certainly important.
Yeah.
But the expense and effort to go to sell a game in a different place is super hard, I feel. And I would not want to do it. Just personally, my personal spending time.
Well, what was funny,
I've not made a company that does that.
Yeah, I went again a couple of years later after the first one, and I noticed that while there was still plenty of people there selling games, nobody brought a lot of anything.
Right.
Really?
These people didn't want to get stuck with it sitting there. You have to ship it
It was
out.
like, we're not going to pay to transport it back and forth and all that.
Yeah.
Whatever we can fit in the back of our car or
I just wonder
whatever, that's what we're taking. And if we sell it, great. If we don't sell it, fine. At least, we expose the game to people, then they'll buy it after.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the good games do really well because they get popular and word of mouth and all that stuff. But probably that's 1 out of 100.
If that.
If that, yeah. No
If
shit.
that, yeah. I mean, was there another at BGG that was usually there's one game that's everybody wants, which was Last Light this time. But I don't think there was another one. And certainly no publisher was there with it.
Apiary got a lot of play.
And Stonemauer doesn't go to conventions. He doesn't go to any conventions.
I know.
And I want to know how you work out that.
Well, he brokers it through other
picture of the game with
people brokers sales.
Public footage was.
Andy, when was the first PAX U? Do you remember? Because I went to that one. I'm interested to see what the difference is.
The first PAX U?
Was it 15, 16?
I think it was a little bit later.
No, maybe.
I went to the second one.
I'll tell you when it was. Hold on.
2018.
Because I remember seeing you there at the first one.
I mean, in the days of Amazon, everything is 20%, 30% off, plus all the deep discounters still around.
Yeah,
they're still around.
Yeah.
you know, we thought they would all sort of dry up because of it's such a hard way to make a business, but they're there.
Yeah.
Is going to conventions really worth it? As like, I mean, obviously it's like
There's,
something that people do.
I'll let Shane tell me if I'm wrong, but there's some that you just like, you have to go to Gen Con, like I said earlier. Like
You have to.
Yeah, you do. People are, you get noticed.
You didn't
for
have
not
last night at
attending.
Gen Con though, right? Or you,
Yeah,
you
we
were
had
playing
last-
you were playing last night. You
They were
weren't
playing-
we had some copies of Last Light to sell at Gen Con, but you're right. I mean, so you don't make money at conventions. That at least I've never made money at a convention. I'm just happy to break even. If I can walk away and go, all right,
Yeah.
you know,
money well
I
spent.
sold a little bit more than what I paid, and you know, based on the fact that I'm getting like full price for this stuff when we sell it for most of it, you know, but I feel like if you just say we're just not going to go to conventions and just don't do it, I feel like it's kind of a risk
Yeah.
to
Right. It's
you
sort
know,
of like keeping up
It's
with
a
the
chance
Joneses.
of being
I feel.
forgotten.
right,
yeah,
yeah,
makes
exactly. So
sense.
then you're just not there, and you're not
Yeah.
like, you know,
But how does Stonemeyer do it?
he's got that blog, and he just has a massive fan base.
So there
already
are other
built.
ways to promote yourselves. It's just harder.
Sure, they're right, and they don't always necessarily work.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like every like the best way, the most efficient, not no sorry, that's the wrong word. The best conversion rate for selling a game is to get somebody to play it.
Yeah,
Like there just isn't there's not a better way to sell a game
right.
than to get somebody to play it. Like
Right.
so your conversion when you go to a convention is going to be much higher, and you hope that you sell, like if you sell 100 copies of a game over the convention, some of those people will take it home and maybe play it with their friends, and you know, and again just kind of like building
Sort of a
little bit
grassroots
of
marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right,
Word of
the
mouth.
marketing that you get from it after the fact. I mean, if there was a way for me to go, look, I don't feel like going to Gen Con, and it usually wants me, I mean, I'll break even, but it's a big fat pain in the butt, and the time lost and everything else. If you could just say, I'm just going to spend I'm going to just send out $10,000 worth of free games to people and know that they're going to play them, like, and then play them with their groups. I would do that in a heartbeat over going to any convention. Like how much is Gen Con going to cost me? After everything, maybe about 5 to 10 grand. I'll just mail out like 500 copies of games to people, and you know, for free. But then if you don't, if
Could
somebody
also
doesn't
be super
buy-
dangerous.
What's that?
That could also be super dangerous, right?
Well, yeah,
You
because
simply
here's the
just
thing:
get
if you
no-
get something for free, you have no
Yeah, there's no buy-in, right? There's no
exactly.
Right.
So like, you know, so like it's the games that you get when you go to conventions, and you know, it's like, oh, you get a free game or whatever with your ticket. How many people actually play those games? Some of them might be really good, but I think a lot of people just go home and they just throw it on their shelf and they go, oh, I'll gift it or whatever. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
in 3 years later, it's still in the wrap. And it's not because the game is bad, it's because they got it for free. And so there's this stigma associated with it. Well, if it's free, then it must have been a bad game, and that's why it didn't sell, and that's why I got it for free.
Well, remember at
People
BGG Con
wait.
that one year,
Thousand
and like
copies.
First Martian was like there was 7,000 copies or whatever.
Well, that was just a bad game. I mean,
We gave away 3,000 copies of Bonanza, and Bonanza's a pretty good game,
yeah,
Sure.
Bonanza's a good
Bonanza's
game.
but
Great
it
game.
also is 30 years old,
Right.
Yeah,
which isn't technically bad. But
30?
Well, yeah.
Holy shit.
isn't it 30? Maybe it's 20.
It can vote.
Not good with math.
It couldn't vote.
a good vote. So, Shane, what kind of con would be better for you in that case? Would it be kind of like BGG or
1997.
or the reverse, like Gen Con? I mean, if you're saying getting games in people's hands is your best seller,
And getting games in people's hands, it's
or
kind
getting
of a
them to
toss-up
play it
because,
rather. Yeah.
I mean, with Gen Con, you're competing with a lot more. You're competing with a ton more vendors, a lot of which have massive coffers to basically just throw
Yeah.
crazy expensive experiences at people
Six
that you
figures,
just
7
can't
figures.
that I can't compete with.
Yeah.
But you still get a lot of traffic by your booth, and you can get a lot of, people to play test your games, not play test, sorry, play your games.
As long as they haven't, as long as you aren't like in the way back corner with nobody around, stuck by the artist's row, just like.
Yeah.
Man.
But I mean, but BGG Con is good because if you can go there and convince, because the people that tend to go to that tend to be like real gamers, like real board gamers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so
More into it.
more into it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you can show if you can sit somebody down, and they're going to go back to their game groups or whatever, I think, and so if you can show someone at BGG Con your game that maybe hasn't gotten any traction, and they're like, man, this is really good, this flew under the radar, I feel like you're going to get much more mileage out of that when they leave with it than you will selling the game at Gen Con to somebody. But I don't know, it's hard to really say.
And it's hard to compete with Gen Con because in Origins, like there's so many people. So
right,
bigger
exactly.
in many pictures, mine bigger is better, right? Because there's 10,000 people at Gen Con or whatever, 70,000 people, which doesn't make sense. There's really 70,000.
But how many of them are actually?
How many are going
going
to
to
sit
your
at your
booth?
booth in a day?
Yeah.
Right.
You got a
The other
10-hour.
thing you have with Gen Con, though, is if you are in the walking path of the person going to get Lorcana and they can't get it because it's sold out or the line's a mile long, and they're like, well, what are we going to do now? I'm like, oh,
I've got this
look at
$80
game
in
over
my
here with
pocket.
Vikings. Let's see what this game's about.
Yeah, I didn't mean Gen Con. I just said that I couldn't think of another smaller con with that type of vibe. Like, there's a lot of Dice Tower cons, and
Yeah, but again, those aren't
they're more
there's
intimate.
vendors
Yeah, that's
there,
what I'm
but
saying. I couldn't think of
There's-
one that's small.
There's vendors there, but they're not there.
vendors.
It's not there. It's not a buying convention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
I
is
mean,
most
I never thought
definitely-
like we never really intended to have vendors at BGG. They sort of wanted to come.
Yeah.
But the advantage you have
organically grew as a vendor. Some
the
vendors.
advantage you have, Scott, for the vendors, say, is if you have people who are releasing games at Essen, it's the first convention
You could potentially
where you can purchase it.
got a hit on your hands, and you can have a couple hundred copies at BGG, ready to go.
And that is a
Probably
big.
sell it. But you have to have a little bit of pre-buzz too. You can't just go there cold. I don't
Right, but the fact is, you got this buzz from this game that came out at Essen, and look, there's 25 copies here now, and there's a copy in the hot games room, and we can go play it right now, and then go, oh, I really like this game. Let me go run over and see if they have a copy in the booth.
Yeah.
More than a few people. I'll go try it out and come back, and they came back and were like, "Don't got any more."
Here's your blood money.
You should have forked over the cash when you had the chance.
It's a trade-off, right? I mean, you can. Your riches can be much higher at these bigger cons because there's way more people. But
that's the thing, and that's the whole Origins thing. Is the Origins was this Origins starts convention season.
Yeah.
For years, that was the first big convention of the year you can go to. But now there's so many other convention things popping up.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things to go to between, BGG Con and Origins.
I mean, everybody talks about Origins being this awesome convention, and it always just seems way too long, way too boring. And
there's a lot of events that we don't, as a publisher, you wouldn't play. You wouldn't.
I guess they got.
I remember there was some. I had some really good talks with people there. They freaking love it.
Yeah,
they got the sausage house, which is okay. The
bits. Yeah, if you can get a table.
And if you're there during the tuba band, that's always nice.
Is that the place we went to with Christina and Michael for the schnitzel?
Yes,
that was good.
The best part about the tuba band is that, like, when if they're in between songs, if you get up to go to like get more food or something like that, to like they always they play out. They're like boom 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 boom, and then you stop moving, they stop playing. Then you start moving again.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a tough business for sure.
Only getting tougher.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. Now there's all these.
And I really don't think there's any crowdfunding is basically never going to go away. It's here forever. It's the best marketing tool there is.
The bubble's going to burst, God.
But a game can come out and make $5 million in a couple days.
Like
Like what
crash and burn.
Crazy.
it's with that?
Next year, I think I'm probably gonna go to like I want to really reevaluate which ones I go to. I mean BGG Con, I think I definitely want to go to because it's a good way to end the year for me, nice and chill. Gen Con, I don't know if I want to do the social again because
You had a good social experience though. I mean, you were buzzing pretty hard after that.
it was good, but there's parts of it. If we're gonna do it again, I definitely change a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But and then
Yeah, it
maybe
was a lot of
gathering.
work.
Gathering.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big business. And
yeah, that's what
I
I mean.
remember,
And it's drivable.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lance.
no, I remember the last year I worked at TMG, I went to 8 conventions.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just absolutely ridiculous.
and still failed. The company.
Hey,
That is.
there may have been a I mean I went to MeepleCon, Dice Tower East, PAX Unplugged, BGG-Con,
Gateway to the
Origins,
West.
GenCon, Geekway to the West.
Dice Tower.
Yeah, I mean it was just I mean I felt like I was like this is stupid.
Was
Why- I
Gateway
mean,
to the West where no, never mind. That wasn't where you were like, please give me a job. It wasn't there. It was BGG Con.
yes, that was a BGG-Con.
Yeah,
right.
BGG Con.
When you talked to Lance the first time?
Yeah, because he had just moved over to
Just went well,
Fun
you call
Again.
it Sell it. Fun Again was last
And he was like, I hate it. You gotta hire me. You're the worst. I can't work with this guy. I want to murder him.
I can't work with this raging sexist, racist, homophobic piece of shit. Just, who challenges me to a fight at Essen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So do you regret this decision, Shane?
Every day. Every day.
And twice on Sundays.
Why do you give him that easy volleyball serve? You're just like you're not even like hitting it overhand. You're like boop.
So here's a question: is there to sell into distribution anymore?
Is there what?
Any point to sell into distribution anymore? If you're basically doing all the work of fulfilling and
distribution does almost nothing.
Make a
Well,
lot
I'll
more
let Shane take
I
this
mean,
one.
I mean,
Well-
you've got a hit game, like so maybe it does.
There's never been a reason to sell into distribution beyond getting a few extra sales here and there. But they I mean, unless you have a hit game, like they do nothing for marketing, like zero. And it's because, at least from what I understand, it's because Asmodee goes to them and goes, yeah, you need to spend this many marketing dollars if you want to carry our line. And then Hasbro goes to them and goes, oh, you want to carry Magic? You're going to need to spend this many marketing dollars on Magic. And so when it's all done, they're like, well, we don't really have any more marketing dollars. So we'll take orders for your games if a store wants them. But as far as marketing goes, the best you get is they put it on their list of games releasing, in 3 months. And if the store orders it, they order it. And if they don't, whatever. So
it just
you
seems
just
like
don't really-
publishers should be just direct sales now.
well, I mean,
It would.
like that's what I want. And also there's zero reason for distribution to even exist in the form that it does. Because if you just had a centralized location with the product, you could have a portal, like a web portal that stores could just log, like you could put publisher inventory, you could have stores log in and order. The warehouse hub could put all the orders together. Everybody would split the cost of the shipping, because that's why individual publishers can't sell or have a hard time selling directly to stores, because you call a store and they're like, well, I'll take 2 Champions of Midgard and a Reavers, and it's like, well, I mean, I understand that's all you can get, but like, it's tough for me to ship, 3 games to you.
Yeah, because you have to have a huge overhead for like warehouse and staff and all that stuff.
Right, but if you have a warehouse whose only job it is to basically consolidate those things, kind of like Impressions used to do, but skipping distribution altogether. Just basically, the hub is the portal is just to connect publishers with either customers like end users or with stores. That's it, and just cut everybody else out in between. and then again, like if I'm a publisher and I want to know what stores are selling my, like if I want to know, like if I can't go to a distributor and go, hey, who's buying the most Champions of Midgard from you? They'll be like, yeah, I'm not sharing that information. You're just going to go to them direct. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I absolutely will go to them direct. That's why I'm asking the question. So
there's that.
Right, there's that. But if if this kind of centralized hub, it makes its money basically on taking a few percent from each sale that goes through it. I don't care if the publishers contact the stores directly, because the more they sell to the store, the more I make anyway. So what do I care? Like I actually want them to, to work with the stores that are selling their games directly so they can sell more stuff. But yeah, anyway,
are you listening, Scott?
Here's the thing.
Yeah, it sucks.
There is a company that recently shut down, and I thought might have been doing what was already happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say the name. You guys might know.
It was already doing what?
Well, it was kind of already, like buying things from publishers and cutting them, getting good deals, but maybe not. I mean, I guess to set up a whole nother company that only makes like a couple percent on a game is really hard business, because how do you make money?
Well,
how does that company make money?
Storage.
Yeah, the storage is super expensive. The staff.
You need to store your games. So, all right. So let's say I'm Gray Fox and somebody goes, I have this idea.
Yeah.
Okay. It's, $12 a month to store your pallets. All right. That's reasonable. And I'll make money storing the pallets. And then we take, 4% or whatever from every sale that goes through, or 5 or whatever the number is. But right now, I mean, I'm eating 18%, with my consolidator, and I'm selling to distribution for 60 off. So if I'm selling directly to stores, I can sell to a store for like 50 off, because they're only getting 45 off now from most distributors, 45 to 48. So I can sell to a store for 50 off. So they're getting a better deal because I'm cutting out the middle, the distributor. And so now there's more meat on the bone, so to speak, to work with. And, and then again, I'm paying less in shipping because we're shipping multiple companies' games in one shipment to stores. I mean, the math does work out, but you got to make some money in storage, and you have to get companies that actually have games that people want, right?
Yeah, because you could take 3,000 copies of garbage and fill up your warehouse with
right, and that which is why that model has to be like, all right, if we agree to take you on and your product doesn't move, then then your storage starts to go up,
right?
Yeah,
until it becomes painful enough for you to
get it out.
liquidate it.
I think Amazon Fulfillment does that, right? They charge you like the first 30 days.
Yes.
It's cheap, and then after that, it's more expensive.
Right, and so I mean, I think you should do something like that. It gives, and if you're up to $30 a pallet storage, I'll just go buy another warehouse if I have to. If I'm getting that much in storage for pallets, but most places will be like, all right, this game I can't move it, it's dead. So let me just liquidate it. The other thing too is working with, like, partnering again with large online retailers, like large online hobby retailers, to help move that dead product, right?
Right.
So a lot of it's just kind of a whole cycle that has to happen. So I don't have a game that sells. I want to move it. All right, I'll contact Miniature Market, Game Nerds. I'll see if they'll take the stuff at 90% off, right? Because when they have a deal of the day, they just, like they can sell hundreds of copies of something if they sell it cheap enough. So, I mean, I don't know.
Because shipping, I mean, eventually,
So
we'll have to say that I want to pay shipping on something that
the only problem with the whole model to begin with is you have to hit the ground running if you have that business to provide that service with a good number of publishers already on board.
Yeah.
And right now in the industry, I don't think that would be very hard to do because nobody's happy.
Really?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Like everyone I'm talking to is like, they don't like where they're with. They don't like their options. Like basically, like there's multiple publishers I know of with fairly sizable games, evergreens that are just like, they're not happy where they're at, but there just really aren't a lot of options. There just aren't. You got PSI and Flat River Group if you want to do consolidation. Bridge sort of now is, you know, in the mix, but I don't know. All the options just seem to kind of suck.
I mean, it's just, I mean, like, what was it? Somebody guessed like a couple years ago. They said like within 5 years, a lot of like at least one of the major distributors just won't be in business anymore. I mean, because I don't see. It seems so weird in this world that we live in that like you can find anything you want online that, you know, people are still like relying on like there being a hub or something that isn't you. I don't know. But people have been chasing that unicorn of like, hey, let's have everybody get in one warehouse and we'll all have our stuff and everybody will come here. And
Supposed to be Amazon, right?
Yeah. I mean,
but that doesn't work.
Yeah, but what happens with that is you end up with this one warehouse that everyone's happy. We're in this all consolidated in this one place, and somebody else is going to come along and open another warehouse and start pulling people away.
well, yeah, I mean that's what it is. As soon as you have
The risk
as
is
soon
high.
as you have something that makes money, people will want to copy.
Right.
Yeah.
But then what happens is slowly you go back to the same issue you have now, is that there are 6 places that each has 10% of the stuff that's available. But if the person who owns this big game store in Los Angeles wants to order all these games, now they have to go to 6 different places to get them from.
Well, I mean, how is that different from having 4 or 5 different distributors?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing you have now. And now it's like, oh, well, you know what? The only thing I want to get from this place that used to have everything is the Gray Fox games. And now I don't want to spend all that money for the few Gray Fox games I have when I could have gotten Gray Fox games and Stonemeyer games.
Well, that's why I'm saying like that 10% better be 10% of games that people want. You cannot fill a warehouse with junk that no one's asking for, right?
Right.
You need to have companies that have evergreens, like solid evergreens that the stores are going to like pretty much need to buy on a regular basis. And then you need to be real selective about who you let in to the, you know, like you just can't just take anybody. Like I just made a game, you know, yesterday.
But on the same respect, Shane, if you have an evergreen game that's a great seller, can I turn down another game that you have that you want to do the same thing with that is not going to be an evergreen game or I don't think is going to sell?
You mean like, with the same company?
No, becomes a slippery slope.
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, again, okay, so you make a game and it's an evergreen and you're in. Then you make a new game. The part of the issue is that, well, there's 2 things. One, people should be, well, okay, let me back this up for a second. Number 1 is the kind of the life cycle of a game, right? So games are dying faster than ever, right? Like, and
flies.
and that needs like, and that is something that would need to be addressed. Like, this isn't a place for you to keep your junk, right? And the bottom line is this: if I push you out because your game is dead, nobody else would have ever taken it. Like, no one's going to take that game. You have to find a way to unload it, right? buy a warehouse. buy a
Nobody's buying
storage
this
unit.
Fee links.
Right,
Right.
but
But
that's my kind of that's my point is that it is that publishers need to move through stuff and they need to be a lot more like cutthroat right now about keeping stuff that isn't selling or that they don't have a plan, like they don't have a plan for, right? Like after the Empire is so dead right now, I can't even believe it. I can't no, but we're gonna be launching
I believe
another
that.
expansion for it. When we do, I know that it will ramp back up again. But even still, I only have like 2 pallets of it, right? I don't have like 6,000 units sitting in a warehouse somewhere that I can't move, which is another thing I think that more and more places are going to start having to do, more and more companies. It's like when I started this, you could probably print 3,000 of the worst garbage in the world and sell it. Like you could make there's like, what did you make? I made some game, it was garbage, but yeah, I'm gonna make only 3,000 extra copies because like you'll find enough places to buy 3,000 copies. Now, when I'm printing, I literally have games that I only when we do the Kickstarter, if the Kickstarter doesn't like go gangbusters, I might only print another 300 copies, 500 copies for the retail market because I'm not sure they're even gonna. I'm not even sure that I'm gonna be able to sell 300 to 500 anymore. That's how difficult it is. So the way I see it is print just a little bit more than what you sold, a little bit for retail. Like Last Light was the most confident game I've put out like prior to release in maybe ever. I don't think I was more confident about any other game that I've ever made than that one. In terms of its appeal and with that one, I still only printed 1,500 retail units. Like I only made 1,500 extra because the way I looked at it was, well, if I'm wrong, I'm not stuck with 30 pallets of a game I can't sell and cash flow that's basically now completely screwed. And if it does hit, I sell out really quick and then we launch another Kickstarter. And I think that's where a lot of the I think that's where a lot of it is going, is basically like short print runs, real short print runs after Kickstarter. If it hits, those print runs will run out and then the companies will just go back to Kickstarter. And if it takes off, I mean, some games are just beyond like they go kind of beyond. Maybe they hit like mass market or whatever. And, a mass market game is never really a good fit for Kickstarter. Like party games and stuff like that. But for the hobby, like, I don't know, the kind of the way I see it going right now, or the trend right now is if you're smart, if you're making games and you're smart, you're unless you just have copious amounts of money to just throw away, you will be, and I say that, but there are companies out there that do. Like, I mean, so I'm helping, I'm doing the fulfillment for that Divinity Original Sin game, which is Larian Studios, who did Baldur's Gate 3. They have got Baldur's Gate money. They do not care. Like, they have lost so much money on Divinity Original Sin. I mean, they made like 1 million, and I guarantee they've lost at least that much based on what I've seen them spend.
Well, we've done the graphic design on it fully. They made 2 full games.
Right. So the point with that is that I think that at the end of the day, they're going to have lost a ton of money, but it's money they can afford to lose because they're making so much money, with Baldur's Gate. And what they really want is they want to make sure that the customers base isn't upset with them. Like that's their main, they don't want Divinity Original Sin to ruin their reputation for the golden goose, so to speak.
Right.
So when they make their Baldur's Gate board game.
So, but if I did Divinity Original Sin and I didn't have their money, I would just be like, well, I sold it for too cheap. I made too many copies and I didn't charge enough for shipping. So I guess I'm just not delivering this and I'm going out of business. Like there's no, like there would be no option. Right. I would just basically just be out of luck.
Right. And the thing we run into that too is then you run into the whole, well, how come they can do this for this?
Well, yeah. Oh yeah. It's drives me crazy. Wonderland's War. When the first time I opened that box, I was like, what did they sell this for? And I went and saw what they sold it for on the Kickstarter. I was like, this is insane. This is like, there is no way they made this game for anywhere near a price that you can't make for what they sold it for. You can't do it.
The thing is with anything, what you are charging for it based on what it costs you to make is up to you on how much you want to make on it.
Sure.
Like you could say, okay, I'm a new company. I'm going to make nothing. I'm going to make nothing off of this. I'm going to charge less than I should charge for this, but I'm not going to lose money. I'm going to make enough money to get the game, get it in people's hands, and people are going to like the game for the price. They're going to buy it, and then they're going to go, "Wow, I like this company." And then your next game, you make a little bit more. You make a little bit more per unit, and then the next one you do it again, and then you build up this reputation where, okay, yeah, I could have made $5 a unit on the first game, but I made 5 cents a unit.
Sure.
But I can make it up later because people will, come back for more.
Well, there's two problems with that mentality. Is one, what happens if they don't? Two, if you're an individual, you can definitely do that. If you're a company with expenses and burn every month and all that other stuff, you can only do that if you've planned out for like a year basically of that cash flow.
I'm talking about the individual who decides I want to make a game and put it out and become a publisher. You can do it. You build an audience around. Around the extra BS.
Absolutely, and if you deliver not only a good if you deliver not only like a good quality product in terms of like its components, but you also have to deliver a game that people are excited about. And I think that's the hardest part in this industry right now, because I mean, how many? I don't know the stat. How many games get released a year? It's
thousands.
Thousands. I mean, Essen was 1,000 games alone, wasn't it?
Like that.
So like 5,000 games, and how many of those 5,000 games that get released are truly like let's say, like how many of those games make the hotness, like seriously make the hotness for like, that they're up there for weeks at a time, right? How many of those 5,000 games get that kind of level of buzz?
20.
I would say probably 40, 50. Yeah.
How many?
40, 50.
40, 50. So,
right, but if you can build a cult around it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you can build a cult around it, like, I mean, Tiny Epic did it, like with their brand. Jamie did it with Stonemaier.
Yeah.
Jamie did it, and that was the person I was referring to, because Jamie's thing was, I wasn't making a lot of money on the first games. I was giving a lot of stuff in the game.
Yes,
because I was building a name. I wasn't trying to get rich, make money on games. I was building something from nothing.
Sure.
So later on, it could be something that would be profitable and all that.
And when he started it, I think that was much easier. I'm not saying I don't take anything away from him. Like,
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
he was a genius. Like, I mean, what he did was very, 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 very smart.
Right, but the thing is,
try to do that same thing
beyond
today.
That, though.
What's that?
People don't see beyond what his plan was. They look at it as, oh, this guy can do it. But why can't so and so do it?
That's the conversation. Oh, if that's the conversation we're having, as like, if we're talking about like what the thought process is for people, and why that there will never be a year where there aren't multiple games that are released that are sold for entirely too little. Was it Isofarian Guard? I think that was the two player game. Like, the box literally weighs 42 pounds or something like that. He sold it for like $100, like, and it came out, and luckily for him, it was really well received. So he was able to launch it again, kind of like, a little bit like Gloomhaven, where he was able to launch it again because it came out and it was really well received. But if it had come out and it wasn't well received, then what he was stuck with was, I don't know, 8,000 pounds of a 2-player game that he can't, that looks really nice, but he can't move. And, maybe a divorce. I don't know. I don't know what situation.
Well, so that's that weird thing though with these games now is that like in the past you had a game like Gloomhaven where like whatever was 100, 125 bucks and you literally got like, so much content. It was insane. It kind of like ruined expectations for a lot of people, going forward. It's like, well, why can't you give me, 800 adventures for $100 or whatever, for a game that less than 5%, in my opinion, played through the whole thing and like used all the content. And I mean, look, like we were talking about, I don't know, Shane, if you've seen the Lucky Duck game found
Food chain
Magnate thing, where they basically took a game that was $100 euro and
an overpriced $100 euro because probably I mean, if it was an original Splotter, I never saw the contents of it, but their stuff was always really overpriced for like what was in the box.
Well, it's because they made it, they did small print runs and they used printers in the EU.
I'm just clarifying.
No, there's no arguments. But if you look at this thing, like if you just wanted the base game, for their super chromed out version of it, it's like $175. That's and people are like losing their minds, but I think they got like 900,000 euros or something donated. If you want everything, it's 300 euros.
It's what?
300 euros, I think, is the all in.
It's like $450 with shipping for the US. $450.
And I went there and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, my cheap prototype cardboard version that I picked up,
How many people do you think buy that as a investment collectible to resell later?
A decent amount.
Yes,
probably. Yeah.
Yep.
Burn.
So I mean,
they'll never sell it.
You can get away with that on a game like that, that people have all these memories attached to, and it's like a it's like a Baba Yaga kind of thing. It's like, oh, food chain magnet, like you can get away with that. Like I went all in on the big old castles of Burgundy. You can get away with that on games like that, I think.
I think it depends on the game. So so when they did that super deluxe version of Twilight Struggle, like I know people who bought one just to resell it down the road. And that they'll have no problem reselling that game.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I think the people who are buying it are people who love Food Magnet and don't want to play it with other people who look at it and throw their nose in the air because it looks like a prototype.
Yeah, I can see that.
How much did the crowdfunder for the War of the Ring Ultimate Edition make back in the day?
Oh,
was that 6 or 7 years ago?
It was wasn't it like $1,000 for it?
Wow.
Which one are we talking about? Because I know that because there was one War of the Ring that came in like this big wood box. It was
it came in a
big book. But that was never the first time they made that wasn't Kickstarted. There wasn't even a Kickstarter back
then. There was
a
pre-order for it. They limited the pre-orders. It was and it was like 1,000 pre-orders.
I bought two.
You bought two?
I sold them for $2,000 a piece.
Good for you.
Yep.
But that's something, and the thing is, this is not a board game exclusive thing. So I don't know. You're talking about the fact that into like the model railroading thing.
Yeah,
there are these companies that make these really nice laser cut kits, and they're not cheap to begin with. Some of them, but like they'll put out limited edition kits when they'll make 150 of them or 200 of them.
Yeah,
and there are people who will go in and buy them, and like the regular price is like $500 for one of these kits. Yeah, and they will sell out within like a week, and then you'll start seeing them on eBay, $1,200, and they sell. because
Sure.
someone missed out on that 2-week window and they need to have this
Yeah.
I actually look at the whole industry like Disney right now. Like they had their weekly exclusives and then they're out and they go on there.
But the other thing is too is people,
comic books, same thing.
people like as soon as something is getting delivered, you'll see it all over the Facebook cell groups.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
going back to what you were saying, I don't think people like Stegmeyer. I'm not sure if they could build a brand today like they could back 5, 6, 7 years ago.
It's
tiny
it's
epic
all in
sound.
how much you are going to work to build that brand.
I don't think
Because-
the attention span for a brand's there.
Well, that's the thing. People look at it now and they're like, I got this game and it's fun and people like it and I'm going to put all these minis in it and all that and people are going to buy it. And you sit there and you go, okay, great. What are you going to do about this, and this? All the stuff that the publisher has to worry about that they don't even think about. Like, do you want to be a designer or do you want to be a publisher?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to be both.
Yeah.
Well, designers that try to be publishers often realize what a mistake it is after the fact. And they're like, oh my God, like I'm never doing that again. I'm just gonna go pitch my designs elsewhere. Like I'm never doing another Kickstarter and trying to fulfill it myself. It was the worst experience in my life. And I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, I know. It's the worst experience of mine, and I keep doing it over and over again.
That sounds awful.
It's called insanity.
Yeah.
Shane,
Well,
I
mean,
didn't
the other
tell
thing,
you.
well, just real quick, the other thing about Jamie's, model was that I was making that point before when he was releasing games, initially, like when he was first releasing games, he was actually like there weren't nearly as many games coming out per year,
Yeah, no.
so we didn't have as much competition, and the games that he was releasing for what they were at the time were quite good. So he was actually delivering, something that people were like, oh my God, like viticulture, his game is great. Like it held up in that market when he released it as a good game. And I think that was key. Like if he was like, I'm a really nice guy and I'm doing this blog and I build this following and I make a game and I'm going to sell it cheap. And then people got the game and they were like, this game sucks. Like this game is the worst game I've ever played.
See, the thing is about, so with Jamie's early games, I mean, they're good games. There are flaws in all of those games that people who are, I can't call them all, but like people who are the Stegmeyer fan club people look beyond them because they don't see them. It's either, I don't know if they don't want to see them and you can't even point them out to them.
Oh.
But those same people, whatever he puts out next, they're in line to buy.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, again, I'm just talking about how he started.
Oh yeah, no, I know. He's
how
genius.
it would be difficult today to build up the same following, right? Like, I mean, first thing you'd have to do is that first game you put out better be a hit. Like,
right.
I mean, and that's the hard, like that's the hard part. The hard part is putting out something that's a hit. Because if there was a crystal ball and we knew what people wanted, we would just make those games. But if most people are just most companies are chasing trends.
Yeah.
Because, a game comes out like, oh my God, Arc Nova, I got to make the next Arc Nova. Well, I mean, it's already passed, right? Like Arc Nova is the next Arc Nova. You're not going to make another Arc Nova, but you can try. And anytime that comes out, like you'll see designers, they will pitch you games that are like the hottest game that's out right then. And you're like, that's not.
Yeah, by the time we get it out, that ship's long gone.
It's gone. Like that ship has long since sailed. So I don't know. For me, I was talking to somebody earlier tonight about this. I am focusing on trying to find IPs that have loyal, hardcore fan bases. Not necessarily that are huge. Like, I don't want Harry Potter. I don't want Marvel. I don't want anything like that. I want indie video games like that, like Deep Rock Galactic, right? Who, they have a fan base. That fan base, there's a lot of people that have never heard of the Deep Rock Galactic, the video game or the board game. But if you play that game, you're going to, there's a high likelihood because you put so much, you play it so much, and it is a part of your kind of your hobby, that when you put out a board game, they're probably going to buy it. Number one, because they feel like they're supporting the company, which they are. And number two, because like if I go to a store, I can find 1,000 items that have Disney IP on them. I can buy a T-shirt, I can buy a toy, I can buy a plushie, I can buy bed sheets. I can literally buy anything with Disney on it.
Yeah.
But if I go looking for something like with Deep Rock Galactic's IP on it, there's probably not much, if anything. Right. So a board game comes out and people are like, oh my God, a board game for this video game that I really love. And, it did, the first campaign did 1 point something. The second one did 2 point something. The ratings are really high because they designed the game with the fan base in mind, like knowing what the fan base liked in the video game. They designed a board game that was true to the video game. And so you can hedge your bets like that. And then, and if all you sell is to that group of people, you still made a lot of money.
Right.
But if you release a really good game, then chances are it'll expand beyond that, right? Like I don't have to have ever played Deep Rock Galactic, the video game, to enjoy Deep Rock Galactic, the board game, right? If I go to somebody's house and they were like, hey, I just got this, let's play it, I'll play it. And I don't have to know the source material. Right. If the game is well designed and it's really good, I could still enjoy it and go out and end up buying it because I like the game and never even play the video game. But I feel like that initial group of people is those are your Jamie Stegmaier people, right?
It's like the guys at Glass Cannon with their
you find a built-in audience that's already there, but it's not necessarily for a board game, right? It's that audience is for video, like a video game or whatever. Like you have to be smart about it. You can't just take any video game. Like I mean, you saw how unfortunately how Call of Duty did, right, for Arcane Wonders. I mean, when I heard they got that IP, I was like, they're gonna go bonkers with that. Like that's gonna be great. And then it came out and it was, I mean, it was bad, real bad.
Was it?
Yeah, it did 300,000. I mean, if you look at it, like what they offered, all the stuff that they did, all the time and effort they put into it, it was really bad. But then when you think about it, you're like, well, people that play Call of Duty, are they people that necessarily play board games? And the answer is probably not. Like it would be like finding an audience for like Madden, right? Like I'm gonna do a Madden board game, right?
Yeah,
you'll find a few people that'll buy it, but you're not gonna. I mean, there's not gonna be everybody that plays Madden. Very, very, very few. A very small percentage of those are gonna buy a board game based on the video game, right? So I don't know. That's my plan right now.
It's like the Gears of War board game that came out.
Yeah. What?
Like. The people who play Gears of War play Gears of War. They don't play board games.
Right.
Well, there was wasn't there a Wolfenstein one too?
Yeah.
No, it's out because I found a box of it in my garage.
Yeah, there was a Wolfenstein one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you go like things like things like well, Marvel's just kind of everybody loves Marvel.
So the guys at Glass Cannon, they did Frostpunk and they did Apex Legends, and they're doing what's the Daylight. I don't know what the hell the game's even called. Those are more like independent video game kind of things, and they're designed. The games are being designed to play like the video game.
There's probably a ton of old shows that people love.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, whatchamacallit's doing Masters of the Universe. Simon's going to be doing Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know that that'll do millions, but I think that'll do fairly well because again,
did it already come out?
No, I think it's launching.
The Simon one.
Yeah.
Not the one that. What's the other one that came out? What's Simon?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I know there
I
was
got a big
one.
box of it in my garage.
You
So
Yeah.
I'm never
Another giant game that you'll
Another
never
giant
play.
box.
Fine game.
get rid of it some more.
And there's so many of those goddamn
Yeah, there was
giant
Simo.
games.
Yes.
Yeah, that's already out.
Is it?
Simon one?
Yeah.
I saw it on GameFound as a launching soon. I thought. All right, maybe not.
Oh, maybe it's something else. Yeah. T-Mon announces worldwide GameFound campaign for Clash of Eternia.
Clash of
Eternia.
Yeah.
It's like,
There's a couple shows and I think a movie.
maybe
will
this is
be
something
ran
else.
out soon.
I just can't. I mean, when we talked about this many times here, and I realize we're a small percentage, but I just don't see how all these people are buying these games that come in 17 boxes anymore.
oh, I know, it's really crazy.
It's like, what are you doing with this? I mean, my storage unit, one wall of it is all my like Cthulhu Wars and Glorantha, whatever thing, just I stupidly bought an all in of because
People
whatever.
like you with storage units.
Yes, I know. And I can't wait for the day that I get everything out of there and I stop paying them for that goddamn storage unit. So that day is coming soon, very soon.
Yeah, I don't get that. There's just a certain point where it just takes up too much space. I mean, these people must
I don't
have
know.
big houses. I just,
Well, I mean, and that's fine. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not judging people that
Yeah,
have all that stuff. If that makes you happy and you like having all that stuff, then you should have that stuff.
You're happy.
But
clap your hands.
yeah, I don't get it.
Doesn't make me happy if I could just parade people through my house and be like, "What do you want to buy? Everything's for sale."
That
The
Pixies
wife, the
poster,
kids, the
Pixies.
furniture, you can have the dog.
Yeah, I don't. What do you got? Take the posters off the wall. Give me something for it and declutter my life, please.
See you later.
Oh yeah, this is a second campaign, by the way. They've already had one campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess they're adding some things too.
Well,
Oh yeah, they just launched a DC Zombicide. Did you see that? Deceased.
Yeah, I heard something.
Deceased.
Yeah, I saw that.
Deceased. I
Deceased.
like it.
What's it at right now?
I don't know. Millions.
Nah, I mean, I know that supposedly, and what do I know? But I mean, I heard that they're a little bit disappointed on how well it's doing right now. So
Really?
Yeah.
What game?
the DC zombies
Oh,
troll thing.
The
from
2
Flea.
million. How can you be not disappointed with 2 million?
Well, look at the last
Yeah,
Marvel
1 in
zombies.
5.
How
2
well it did.
million?
it's Marvel versus
Marvel is-
DC. though.
Yeah.
They're not even in the same ballpark.
Yeah, we've gone through this in the past, even in
I'm
board
just saying,
games.
I have heard, and I'm not talking about Peter. Before anybody says,
not.
"Oh, former friend of the show," it's not Peter.
Fine.
But I have absolutely heard that people are not. They've expected it to be doing better.
People are happy with DC right now in general. I mean,
Yeah, maybe, but I mean,
there's no maybe.
Yeah, so Marvel Zombies did 9 million.
9
The
mil?
last Marvel Zombies one
Marvel
they did.
zombie.
and that
I
was
got
because of
that.
the giant Galactus statue, right?
Oh yeah. I forgot
Yes.
That one, yeah. Oh, that's right. The gimmick.
That everybody got excited about, just like everybody got excited about their giant Cthulhu mini. And what does everybody do? What did everybody do with their giant Cthulhu mini?
Mine's
It's like,
in my entryway in the building.
yeah,
Scaring
mine
people
is
right off
mine
the
is
bat.
on top of my stereo speaker over there,
Yeah.
and it just sits there.
What was
staring
that
at me.
game called? That was called Cthulhu
Death May
Cthulhu May
Die,
Die. Death May Die.
which
That's
is
good,
actually it is a very good game.
You know, I feel like Cthulhu could still be milked. There's not been enough Cthulhu games.
No, there's
It's not
never.
milked as much as zombies.
Nah.
Definitely
I
not.
can't tell if you're being serious or you're being.
I'm
or
being
you're joking.
serious.
No, I feel
that
like
is
he's
a
being-
potential gold mine.
Yes.
It is.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you, Scott.
Zombies are.
Well, we got a Cthulhu game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mythos Tales.
Oh
We're
yeah.
probably gonna redo that.
So you got
Oh,
it
you
from
got that? That was a good.
Was it
I like that game. That was
the
a
company
good,
that had that?
I didn't realize you
Uh,
got that one.
8th Summit.
8 Summit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
I was talking to the owner of 8th Summit actually yesterday or 2 days ago.
Jason Maxwell, friend of the show. He's been on before.
Jason Maxwell. He was like, hey, I've got somebody like that has written new cases for the game. And he's like, the writing's really good. It's a little wordy, but I can edit that down. He's like, but the cases are really solid. And he's like, if I can project manage this, make new cases, fix the old, because the old cases had some issues with them. Like some of them just went went to nowhere.
Yeah.
Like I'll go to this street. Like, well, that's
That's
nothing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
fixing that, fixing that stuff, writing new cases. He was telling me he sold 100,000 copies of that game worldwide.
Wow. Nobody ever talks about it. I mean, it's
Exactly.
It's a
big in Japan,
It's like
apparently. So
goal.
big in
Oh, yeah,
Japan.
I enjoyed it here. Yeah, it was a good game. So is
but
this
yeah, I
going
mean-
to be a separate one, or is it going to just be the original one with a couple extra cases?
No, so it'll be like a reboot. So it'll fix it'll be this first cases and fix all of those, and probably, I don't know, another 4 to 6 new cases.
Okay.
But rather than putting them all in one book, each case will probably be in its own booklet. So anyway, I mean, that's what we're talking, but I told him, I was like, yeah, we can do it, assuming you do all of the
Work.
You do
the
all
work for the writing and
Yeah.
but he got out of board games for a while because he was just kind of disgusted with everything.
Yeah.
It was just, the industry was just too much. He was like, I'm out.
Out.
But he's been away for a while, and he's like, I started playing board games again. He's like, I remembered why I really liked it. I was like, well, why do you want to make games again then? You just want to ruin that?
Yeah, wasn't that the game that broke them? The Cthulhu?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it? No, I don't think it was that one. It was
because that came out.
No, it did, but he got so much grief over it that and to be fair, I mean, again, he's a one-man show and didn't have a ton of play testers, and so yeah, there were problems with the cases. But generally the game was pretty well received, and I think if you tightened all that stuff up, and fixed it, made some new cases, that it would, I think it would do really well. Again, hedging bets, right? There's already an audience built in for this.
Yeah.
You just have to let them know that it exists when you launch it.
Yeah.
Because after that one, he had that Mad Max Defender of the Realm game.
Was that after? Yeah, you're right. That was after. Yeah.
The Saving Time and Gods of Adventure.
Well, Saving Time, I don't think he ever even released.
No, that one he never got it funded.
Yeah, well, he made it because I had 2,000 copies of them, and I threw in a dumpster eventually.
Which game was that?
Saving Time. It was a Richard Lanius game.
Saving Time.
You never would have seen it because, again, I don't think a single copy ever saw the light of day.
Oh, you were just storing.
You had collector's items and you threw them away.
Yeah. It's now the lost Richard Lanius game. I might have a copy on my shelf somewhere here. I might have taken a copy.
Yeah, I mean, there's somebody who just heard you say that, and they're gonna reach out to you. They're gonna be all like, "You gotta have it."
Here's my PayPal address.
I'm gonna take offers, but I won't take less than $800 for it.
Nah.
If Lanius got a hold of you.
Otherwise, I'll just keep it.
Never play it. Never bust the shrink.
If I have it, it's still in the shrink. I mean,
yeah, that's right. You don't play games.
I don't play my games. I never play my games. I always
No.
go when I go over play. I'll play games when I go to other people's houses, but I never play my games, which is why I want to have a parade of people to just buy my stuff off the shelf because I don't need them. I have plenty of friends with games, and when I go over their house, I play. So I live
Give
too
you
far out.
$5 for that
nobody-
Pixies picture.
What's that?
I give you $5 for the Pixies picture behind you.
Exactly.
Done. Done.
Nah, but the shipping's gonna kill you.
And the handling. Don't forget about
I
the
believe he invited me over to his house.
I think. Well, you better bring a fat stack of cash and start.
And a U-Haul truck.
Oh, I see your hat. You want the San Marino jersey that I got in the back?
Can I put it next to mine?
Sure, sure.
I'm afraid to go. I made Shane spend a lot of money at one point in time.
You made
On
me
what?
spend a lot of money.
I made you spend a lot of money. I introduced you to two guys from Poland who had a bunch of really small games.
Was that you?
That was me. And Josh played the games and liked them. And he's like,
Oh,
"They're
that's
good.
right. You
They're
son
good."
of
He's
a
like,
bitch.
I
And
like
now
this
they're bigger
one.
than me. And
He's
now
like, I
they're
like
bigger
this
than
one.
me.
And Shane's like, we'll take them all.
We didn't take the one that we should have taken, which was the Stranger Things one, the upside down one. That's the one we should have taken.
They didn't have that one
Josh
ready
was like,
yet.
that game isn't very. We could have taken it. Josh passed on it.
Josh passed
he
on
said-
that one.
What company is this?
So the guys from Boards and Dice, when they came to Gen Con for the first time, and they had like 4 small games. And then they had another game
Multi-Universum, Super Hot,
Oh yeah, I remember
Pocket Mars. You know, Lance, the games
Oh,
you
yeah.
give away for free to help move extra copies at conventions. I call them your crutch. It's Lance's crutch, his sales crutch. Hey, I'll throw in a free game if you buy this.
I apologize emphatically.
No, that's okay. Without those, Lance would never make a sale.
Oh,
I was being nice and was just trying to get them comfortable talking to someone, and I'm like, oh, Josh is a good person to talk to
Yeah.
because he'll be real with them, and he actually liked. I think he liked 1 or 2 of the games, and Shane's like, "We'll take them all."
Like, whatever, I don't care.
And then they took one of your games to do in Polish, the little farming game thing.
That's right. They did. They did take the little farming game, which still sells. It still sells for us. I mean, not a lot, but that game still sells a few copies here and there.
Harvest Dice.
Harvest Dice, yeah.
But on the plus side, Shane made a very smart decision that convention and didn't hire me.
Yes.
Very good
smart.
decision. Yeah.
Not Jim Hens.
If you thought you cost me a lot of money by introducing me to them, hiring you would have cost me even more money. So I think it was the right choice.
Gem Hens.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm ready to fire everybody. Go down to just me. Sorry, Lance. Oh God, I hope you didn't hear that. Did I say that out loud?
I don't think he's sorry, Lance.
I still remember. God, I remember when Gem Hens came out. And you were like, I was just wandering by the booth, and you're like, "Hey, you should really. This game's really good." And I was like, "That game doesn't look good at all, Shane." Nah, it's really good. It's like really cool. You make these.
I
make
played
these
it once.
Fabergé eggs. And I was
It's
like,
fun.
this-
I like the game. It's a fun game.
I was just like,
I hate the theme. I asked
Yeah.
the designers, I was like, we got to do something else. And they were like, we really think it
Gotta
works
be Jim
with the,
Hens.
what's that?
It's gotta be Jim Hens.
It's got to be hens. And I was like, I don't know how to make this cool. I don't know how to make this work. But, and, oh, that's another game I just loaded up 800. No, I'm sorry, not 800. I loaded up 100 copies on a pallet today to sell at $1 a copy or $2 a copy to Game Nerds. So, oh no, not Game Nerds. That was a different one. I'm selling that to somebody else who basically does closeouts at conventions. So look for Gem
Dan
Hens at
Yarrington?
your local convention for the low price of about maybe $5 or $6. Definitely worth it. The multicolored crystals in there are great for prototyping. So, at the very least,
I'm
you can
in.
get those out of it.
And then you never made the expansion, the Sun expansion, Jim Henson? No. Okay.
No, no.
The what?
Gotcha. Jim Henson.
Oh, Jim Henson. I get it.
The Sun's expansion.
Lord Myerscough, the Miserly.
Miserly.
I brought that up with Ryan last night, and we were like, "Oh yeah, it's got to go in there."
I'm not paying for that art.
Did you remember I gave you
Better
the idea.
not AI that shit because we'll get in trouble.
No, I mean just like I said, it's
18
like
fingers.
He's worth, if you can hold on to him to the end of the game, he's worth 3 points or something like that. But you can use him once, and then you have to get rid of him like to save like two gold when if you get ransacked or something. You can manage to hold on to him. The Miserly, just
The only way I'm agreeing to this is if it's overpowered.
just,
So Josh is not allowed to balance it.
That damn Josh.
Right.
balancing.
Lame.
Who needs that in the game?
I like Lord Myerscough. Miserly.
At the very least, it's got to be a promo.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a promo. Yeah, so it's not balanced. Have fun with it.
The promo itself, you just buy the card. It costs you $15.
Oh yeah, it's
Just the one
$15.
All proceeds go to Myerscough the Miser.
Misers.
It's a super
Incorporated.
broken, busted
Kids-
card.
The kids of Myerscough.
Yeah.
What was that? What was the nonprofit in the Big Lebowski?
Little urban achievers.
Achievers.
Yeah, Lebowski's Urban Achievers or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, and then he said, he's like, I didn't know he was a cripple. Yes, he is disabled. Just, yeah.
One of the greatest movies ever made.
Oh, it's eminently quotable.
I gotta go, guys.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I gotta tell my story after we close up. So just because I gotta have Shane here because I need to hear his
Okay.
reaction to
Story?
it. So, all right, we're gonna call it a night. It's almost 1 o'clock here anyway. I actually have some work to do before I go to bed. So
What time?
yeah, oh shut up.
Time, man.
But everybody be good, be decent. It's good to be back after 2 weeks off. So yeah, have a nice night.